Good morning, my dear friend. The world is still wrapped in the hush of dawn. The sky glows softly with hints of gold, and the earth seems to exhale in peace as the first light slips through the window of your soul. There is something sacred about this hour. It is not just another morning, it is an invitation, a whisper from heaven, calling you to pause before the world demands your attention. In these quiet moments, before voices rise and tasks begin, there is a gentle opportunity to meet with the one who knows you completely. And perhaps, like so many of us, you have come here not just to start the day, but to find something deeper, something lasting. Maybe you woke up today with a heavy heart. Maybe your soul is carrying what your lips have not spoken aloud. You have smiled for others, kept things together on the outside. But inside, you are holding back a flood. Perhaps it is the weight of disappointment, doors that never opened, prayers that seem unanswered, or the quiet ache of feeling unseen. Or maybe you are standing in the middle of uncertainty, where fear hides behind every thought and hope feels like a fading echo. Maybe you have just lost someone you loved, or watched a dream dissolve in silence, and now everything feels hollow, like nothing makes sense anymore. I once spoke with someone who felt exactly that way. She was a mother who had just buried her son. Her mornings were marked by silence, so deep it pressed on her chest. Her prayers, once full of expectation, had turned into whispers of confusion. "I do not even know what to say anymore," she told me. "I want to believe, but I am scared to hope again." And yet, even in her brokenness, she kept showing up to the quiet. She kept lighting that tiny candle of faith. It did not roar into fire right away, but it flickered and it stayed. And slowly, it warmed the coldest corners of her heart. That is the miracle of prayer. Not always that it changes things immediately, but that it gently changes us. Today, you are being invited not into a performance, not into perfect words or polished faith, but into a sacred conversation, a conversation with the one who already knows your pain and still waits for your voice. You do not need to impress him. You do not need to hide your fears. You simply need to be here, just as you are. That is enough. You are enough. This is a safe place to feel, to ask, to cry, to worship, and to hope again. Prayer is not a monologue. It is a meeting place. It is where your reality collides with God's presence. It is where your weakness is exchanged for strength, your fear for peace, your confusion for clarity. It is the bridge between what is and what could be. When you open your heart in prayer, even through trembling lips, you are not speaking into the air. You are placing every word into the hands of the one who sees all, hears all, and moves beyond what you can imagine. Faith does not always feel loud. Sometimes it is a quiet choice, a whisper that says, "I trust you, even now." And that whisper is enough to move mountains, because the strength of faith does not come from how loud it sounds, but from who it is placed in. And today, your faith, no matter how small, is precious to God. So, let this be more than a moment. Let this be the beginning of a sacred rhythm, a turning of the soul back to its source. Right now, In this soft morning stillness, breathe in deeply. Exhale the anxiety. Invite peace to take its place. Let the presence of God wrap around you like a gentle sunrise warming cold ground. Open your heart now, not to an obligation, but to an encounter. Let this be your sacred time, a space where your spirit can speak. Listen and be renewed, because in this moment, heaven leans in, and the God who shaped the stars is ready to meet you here. Dear Heavenly Father, this morning begins in quiet. The world is still holding its breath. The sky is dim and hushed, and I sit here with a soul that is both heavy and searching. I come to you, not with eloquent words or perfect prayers, but with the simple ache of someone who just wants to be seen. There is no crowd here, no performance, just me, just you, and this sacred stillness before the day unfolds. I do not come strong, I come weary, but I am here, and that is the truth I place before you first. You know what I cannot say out loud, the weight behind my eyes, the weariness in my bones, the questions that wake me in the middle of the night. I do not always know what to do with the quiet. Sometimes it comforts me. Sometimes it frightens me. But this morning, I choose not to fill it with noise. I let it be what it is, a space for you to enter. A space where I can breathe. I admit, Father, that I do not feel brave right now. I do not feel ready. I do not even feel sure I can carry the things I am holding. There are pieces of my heart that feel lost in shadow, corners where joy once lived that now sit empty. I miss feeling light. I miss the days when hope came easily. But even if I cannot feel it yet, I want to believe that you are near, that you are here with me, that you are not waiting for me to fix myself before I come to you. So I open the door, trembling and quiet, but willing. Come in. Sit with me in this moment. I need you, not for the answers I do not have, for the comfort that only you can bring. I need to know that I am not alone in this room, in this silence, in this day, and I know, somehow, even when I doubt, that you are already present, that you never needed to be invited, but you waited for my heart to whisper anyway. I carry wounds that do not bleed but still ache. Some were caused by others, and some I gave myself. I lay them before you now, not to be judged, but to be healed. I do not want to hide them anymore. If you are truly the God who sees, then see me here. See the part of me that still tries to smile when I am breaking inside. See the fear I try to dress as strength. See the heart that wants to believe there is more than this pain. I do not come to impress you, God. I come because I have nowhere else to go that truly understands me. I come because I believe there is something in this moment that is more than just breath, that even in the dark corners of my spirit, your light can still reach me. I do not ask for a miracle I can touch. I ask for a peace I can hold in the middle of what I not understand. Let this morning be a beginning, not of something loud or dramatic, but of something steady. Let this be the morning I no longer run from stillness. Let this be the hour I choose to rest in your nearness. Even if I do not feel it yet, let this be the day I allow my soul to whisper again, not with shame, not with fear, but with the trust of a child who knows that her father listens. I cannot carry all these thoughts alone. I cannot fight the anxiety that crawls in when I am trying to stand tall. I cannot keep pretending that everything is fine. So I stop pretending. I sit down here at your feet with all that I am and all that I am not, and I say simply, I am yours, even with my questions, even with my doubts, even with the heaviness that makes it hard to speak sometimes. You are not far away. You are not distant. You are not waiting for me to prove my worth. You are right here, in the hush of this morning. And that means I do not have to face the day alone. That means I do not have to earn your attention. I have it already. I have it now. So I lean into it. I lean into you. I ask for nothing more than your presence. Let it be the light that guides me, the warmth that holds me, the truth that steadies me. I am tired of trying to be everything. I am tired of carrying what only you were meant to hold. So here I am, small, but willing, wounded, but open. I give you my silence, my mess, my longing. You said you are close to the brokenhearted, then come close. You said you are near to those who call, then hear this soft cry. I do not ask you to change the world around me just yet, but I ask you to meet me in this space, as I am, with no mask, no shield, no pretending, only surrender. This morning is not about perfection. It is about presence, yours and mine. Meeting in the hush of early light. Meeting before the world demands. Meeting before I have to smile or perform. And here, in this honest space, I believe you are already at work, even in the silence, even in the tears I hold back, even in the breath I am taking now. So let it begin here, not with noise, not with pressure, but with truth. The truth that you are here, the truth that I am still yours. The truth that this morning holds mercy I have not yet seen, and I will sit here as long as I need to, breathing in the comfort of knowing I am not alone. Let this be the beginning of something sacred. Let this be the first light before the day unfolds. God, I stayed a little longer in the quiet after speaking those first words to you. Something began to shift, not loudly, not suddenly, but gently, the way fog starts to lift before the sun fully rises. I did not expect that, and yet, here I am again, not because everything changed, but because something inside me stirred. And maybe that stirring is the beginning of something holy. Something honest. It is hard to explain the H I carry. It does not scream. It does not ask for attention, but it sits there, deep beneath the surface, pressing against the edges of who I am. Most days, I push it aside. I stay busy. I smile when I need to. I say the right things. But underneath it all, I am tired of pretending that I am unaffected. I am tired of nodding while something inside me is breaking quietly. So I whisper it now. I whisper the H, the part of me that misses what I never had, the regret for what I lost, the longing for things I can name without tears. I bring you the sorrow that does not make sense to anyone else, the disappointments I have buried so deep, I almost forgot they were there. But I have not forgotten, and neither have you. There are places inside my soul that feel like old wounds reopened. I wonder sometimes if healing is possible for the kind of pain that does not have a date, a name, or a clear memory attached to it, just an echo. I do not need to understand all of it, Lord, but I need to let it rise to the surface. 'Cause keeping it hidden has not healed it. Silence has not saved me from it. And now I want to hand it to you, piece by piece, even if I can find the words to explain each one. I bring you the fear I have carried like armor. The fear that if I say these things aloud even to you, they will become too real. But you already know. You have seen the nights I stared at the ceiling, the moments I smiled when I wanted to cry, the times I said, I am fine, because the truth felt too heavy. You were there in every breath I took while holding back tears. You were near even when I felt abandoned. And still, you stay. You do not flinch. You do not turn away from the mess I carry. That alone makes me tremble, because you are holy, and yet you choose to sit with me in this. Not when I am cleaned up, not when I am composed. But here, in the unraveling, you are not disgusted by my weakness. You are not impatient with my slowness to trust. You receive me, bruises and all. Sometimes I wonder why the pain lingers. Why some prayers feel like they never cross the ceiling. Why joy seems to come in brief flashes instead of staying. And I confess, I have grown wary. I have grown silent. I have even grown skeptical at times, not of you, but of myself, wondering if I am doing something wrong, if maybe I have missed something, if perhaps I am too broken for the kind of peace I have heard others talk about. But then you remind me in small ways that healing is not always loud, that sometimes the breaking open is what allows the light to reach me. And maybe that is what is happening now. Maybe the tears I did not plan on shedding this morning are not a sign of weakness, but a release. Maybe the H is not proof of failure, but proof that my heart still feels, and where there is feeling, there can be mending. So I whisper what I can. I whisper the grief I never named. I whisper the questions I have buried. Whisper the guilt I have carried for too long. I whisper the truth that I am afraid of being disappointed again. But even as I do, I realize that I am no longer whispering into emptiness. I am whispering into your presence. And that changes everything. I know you are not intimidated by sadness. You are not overwhelmed by my confusion. You are not frustrated by the time it takes for me to open up. You are patient. You are kind. You are safe. So I loosen my grip. I unclench the fists I did not know I was holding. And I let you take what I cannot carry anymore. There is something sacred in this kind of honesty. I can feel it. Not in a way I can explain, but in the stillness between each breath. You are here, not to fix me instantly, but to hold what I bring, to sit with me in the H, to remind me that I am not invisible in my pain. I matter, even when I feel small. I do not know what healing will look like. I do not know when joy will return in full, but I believe this moment counts. I believe this quiet confession, this gentle surrender, is a step toward freedom. Maybe the chains do not fall all at once. Maybe they loosen link by link as I whisper, as I trust, as I bring each sorrow into the light. You are not rushing me. You are not forcing me to move faster than I can. You walk at my pace. You see the cracked ground of my soul and still choose to walk there. You are not embarrassed by my brokenness. You see beauty where I see failure. You see potential where I see pain. And so, I let my soul speak softly now. I let the words come. Even if they are incomplete, I let the tears fall. Even if I do not know why they are here, I let the H rise. Because maybe it is not rising to torment me, but to be healed. Maybe it is not meant to stay buried, but to be surrendered. To you, the one who weeps with me, the one who knows the story behind every silent sorrow. So take it, Lord. Take the weight that never had a name. Take the quiet heartbreak. Take the memory I have avoided. Take the invisible grief that I have worn like skin. I can't carry it anymore. And even if I could, I do not want to. I want you to have it. I want you to make something of it. Something beautiful. Something redemptive. I may never find perfect words for all that hurts, but you understand sighs too deep for language. You receive groans. You interpret silence. And in this moment, that is more than enough. You are more than enough. Let these whispered H's become songs of freedom in time. Let the hidden pain become sacred testimony. Let what feels like sorrow now become soil for something beautiful. I trust you with the tears. I trust you with the pieces. I trust you with this heart that dares, even now, to believe healing is still possible. Lord, something unexpected happened in that silence. As I poured out the H, as I whispered what I never meant to say aloud, I began to feel something stir deep within me. It was not a loud answer or a sudden shift. It was quieter than that, but just as powerful. A warmth, a gentle weight lifting. A reminder, not in words, but in memory. A soft pull drawing my heart backward, not into regret, but into remembrance. There was a time, not so long ago, when I stood in a different valley. Maybe I did not see it clearly then, but now I can. You were there too. You did not abandon me, even though I did not always recognize you. I remember crying in the car, hands gripping the steering wheel, wondering how everything had unraveled. I remember praying through clenched teeth, not even sure I believed my own words. And yet, somehow, I made it through. I breathed through that storm. I am still breathing now. You came through. Maybe not how I imagined, not on the timeline I begged for, but you did not leave me in the dark. You showed up in ways only you could. A message at the right time, a friend who called unexpectedly, a night where I finally slept without fear. I did not call them miracles then, but looking back now, I see them clearly. They were gifts. Quiet mercies. God, you are the same now as you were then. You have not changed. But sometimes I forget. Sometimes the weight of now blinds me to what you have already done. So today, I pause. I look over my shoulder. I trace the path behind me and find footprints beside mine. Not just mine. Yours Every time I thought I was alone, you were still walking with me. I remember when I was at the edge of giving up on myself, on people, on hope, and something shifted. Not because I forced it, but because you held me when I collapsed. You surrounded me when I stopped pretending. You reminded me, even in my most fragile hour, that I was not forgotten. I hold that memory now like a light in my hands. Thank you for the way you rescued me in the quiet. Thank you for the strength that came in pieces, just enough to keep going. Thank you for not being angry when I doubted, for not turning away when I questioned. Thank you for being steady when everything else shook beneath me. You did not erase the pain, but you stood with me inside it. And that presence, that constant nearness, was the miracle I did not know I needed most. I remember the time when I lost something that mattered so deeply to me. I thought I would never breathe right again, but breath came, not all at once, not without pain, but slowly, inhale by inhale. You taught me how to live with empty hands and still trust they would be filled again in time. And they were, not always with what I expected, but with what I needed. You have been my shelter. You have been the hand I did not see but always felt. You have been the whisper in the dark that told me to hold on one more hour. You have been the reason I am still here, still choosing to believe, even when belief feels fragile. So now, in this space of reflection, I let gratitude rise. Not forced, not scripted, just real, from a heart that remembers, a heart that knows you have come through before, and you will come through again, even if I do not see how, even if I do not know when. Your faithfulness did not begin today, and it won't end tomorrow. Let my memories speak louder than my fears. Let them testify when my confidence shakes. Let them become anchors when the winds rise again. I do not want to live forgetting what you have done. I do not want to let the chaos of the present drown out the praise that the past has earned. Father, help me store these memories like treasures. Let them be sacred reminders. Let them be weapons against despair. Let them be proof to my soul that even when I do not feel you, you are working. That even when the sky is dark, the stars are still shining somewhere beyond the clouds. That even when my heart feels dry, the well is not empty, it is just waiting for me to draw again. Teach me to return to these moments when the next storm comes. Teach me to speak them aloud when doubt tries to settle in. Let these remembrances be my altar, built not with stone, but with every answered prayer, every quiet rescue, every piece of peace that came when it should not have. This altar is where I choose to kneel again, not in desperation, but in awe. You have been so kind to me, God, even when I did not see it, even when I thought you were silent, even when I ran away from you, your mercy followed. Your grace kept showing up. I cannot ignore that. I won't ignore it. Let this be the start of a new way of seeing, eyes open, not just to what is missing, but to all that you have already done. Let today be marked by remembrance. Let it be filled not with new fears, but old faithfulness. Let my feet walk forward with the memory of where they have already been. Let my steps be lighter because they are grounded in trust, not just hope. I do not walk into this day with empty hands. I walk in carrying stories of rescue. I walk in holding the proof of your kindness. I walk in wearing the history of grace. This is what I will speak to my soul when it trembles. This is what I will say when the waiting gets long. Remember the midnight that turned into morning. Remember the prayer that finally broke through. Remember the laughter after sorrow. Remember the peace after the storm. So I thank you again, not because everything is perfect, not because I have all the answers, but because you have never failed me. And I believe you never will. You came through before. You are coming through now. Even if I cannot see it yet, even if the evidence has not arrived, I trust that something is moving. And for now, in this quiet morning light, that is enough. Memory is enough. Mercy is enough. You are enough. Father, as I sit here still wrapped in the quiet of morning, I carry the memories you brought back to me. They were not just thoughts. They were lifelines. Proof that you have walked with me through fire and never let the flames consume me. But even with those memories warming parts of my soul, I still feel the chill of uncertainty lingering in the corners. The day ahead is waiting, and though I trust you, I still feel the weight of what I do not yet know. So this morning, I choose something bold, not because I feel brave, but because I need to fight fear in a different way. I choose to give thanks. I choose to thank you here, now, even while shadows still stretch long across parts of my path. I do not wait for the sun to rise fully before lifting my heart. I do not wait for answers before expressing gratitude. I give thanks in the middle of questions. I give thanks before the breakthrough. It is not easy. Gratitude in the dark is an act of defiance. It is a quiet rebellion against despair. And so I say thank you. Thank you for what I cannot yet see, but choose to believe is coming. Thank you for the strength I will need later, but trust you are already preparing. Thank you for peace that has not arrived, but is on its way. Thank you for the miracle you are forming in the hidden places of my life. God, you see the full picture, even when I can only make out fragments. You know how the pieces will come together. So I trust you enough to say thank you in advance. Not because I am pretending things are fine. Not because I want to fake joy. But because I believe gratitude changes me. It realigns my heart with the truth that you are still in control. Even when everything around me feels fragile. You are worthy of thanks not just when blessings are obvious, but especially when they are not. When I have to squint to see the good. When I have to stretch my soul to reach for hope. That is when thanksgiving becomes a lifeline. That is when it pulls me out of the depths and sets my feet back on steadier ground. So thank you for the breath in my lungs, even when anxiety presses against it. Thank you for this heartbeat, steady and faithful, carrying me even when I feel undone. Thank you for the ability to feel deeply, even when it hurts. These things are not small. They are signs that I am still here, still capable of love, still open to healing. Thank you for the people who have not left, for the ones who text when I go silent, for the ones who do not need an explanation, who stay. Thank you for the nights when sleep comes gently, and for the nights when it does not, but you sit with me anyway. Thank you for the moments when laughter bubbles up unexpectedly, reminding me that joy is not gone, it is just waiting its turn. Thank you for grace that meets me before I ask for it, for mercy that flows even when I forget to pray, for love that does not withdraw when I am tired and cold. You are consistent, and that is enough to be thankful for every single day. I light this small candle of gratitude. Lord, even if the wind howls, even if fear threatens to snuff it out, even if the world around me seems to demand proof before praise, I light it because I believe you see it. I believe you honor it. I believe it matters more than I can understand. Let this gratitude push back the shadows. Let it become warmth in the coldest parts of my thinking. Let it be the anchor when emotions shift and fears creep in again. Let it keep my eyes open to your fingerprints on the details I would otherwise overlook, because you are not just in the grand miracles. You are in the small kindnesses, the overlooked mercies, the quiet gifts. Let my thanks be my offering today, not polished or perfect, but real, honest, from a place that knows pain, but chooses praise anyway, from a soul that still trembles, but still sings. Thank you for this very breath, for this moment of stillness, for the gentle light touching the windows now. It reminds me that the world is moving forward and that I get to be a part of it. Thank you for every unseen battle you have already won on my behalf, for every danger I was protected from without even knowing, for every door that closed that I later realized was mercy. Let my heart remain open in gratitude, even when the news is not good, even when the waiting stretches long. Let me be someone who praises before provision, who worships before rescue, who gives thanks not because the outcome is certain, but because your character is God. I do not always understand how you work, but I have learned that gratitude brings clarity, not to circumstances, but to the soul. It steadies the parts of me that shake. It brings me back to center, back to trust, back to you. So I choose it now, even with tears in my eyes, even with questions on my lips, even with worries still pressing against my chest. I choose to say thank you. Thank you for not being afraid of my honesty. Thank you for receiving both my praise and my pain. Thank you for letting me bring the whole truth to you, and not just the parts I think you want to hear. Today, I want to live thankful not for perfection, but for presence, not for answers, but for access. I have you, and that alone is enough. Let gratitude color everything I do today. Let it soften my voice, slow my steps, open my hands. Let it be the filter through which I see others, especially the ones who are struggling too. Help me speak thankfulness in conversations that feel heavy. Help me pause long enough to recognize the beauty in ordinary moments. Help me notice the goodness around me, so I can reflect it back into the world. This act of gratitude is not a denial of difficulty. It is a declaration of trust, a decision to believe that you are still working, still providing, still near, even when I cannot see the full picture, even when I feel surrounded by unknowns. I give thanks, not because of what I hold in my hands, but because of who holds me. So with this quiet breath, I say it again. Thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for loving me through every doubt, every silence, every breakdown. Thank you for seeing the small flame I am holding and not asking for more than I have. Just this little light of thanks, burning in the middle of my need. And somehow, even this is enough. Father, I have been holding so much. Even as I whispered thanks through the shadows, even as I lit that small candle of gratitude, my hands were still closed around things too heavy for me. I feel it now, the tightness in my chest, the tension in my shoulders, the weariness that comes from carrying what was never mine to carry alone. I think I have mistaken responsibility for control. I thought I had to hold it all together to prove I trusted you. But this morning, I see that trust does not look like clenched fists. It looks like open hands. There are things I have been gripping tightly, afraid that if I let go, everything will fall apart. But maybe it is already falling apart because I want to release it. So now, gently, one burden at a time, I place them before you. I do not even know how to drop them all at once, but I can start with one, and then another. I can trust that the ground beneath me is not going to collapse when I finally stop pretending to be stronger than I am. God, I surrender the outcome I have been trying to orchestrate, the timelines I have drawn in my mind, the pressure I put on myself to arrive at a place you never asked me to reach by now. I give you the fear of missing it, missing the calling, missing the blessing, missing the moment. I lay down that voice that says I am already behind, already late, already failing. I let it fall like a stone from my hands, into your river, into the place where you wash away what was never mine to bear. I surrender the need to understand, the endless loops of questions in my mind that never lead to peace. The wondering why things happened the way they did, or did not. The stories I keep replaying, hoping they will make more sense this time. I surrender the demand for clarity, and instead I ask for calm. I ask for stillness inside the mystery. I ask for the faith to live without every answer, trusting that you are still writing a story I can't yet see. I surrender the pain I have named, and the pain I have not, the places I have guarded, the memories I have avoided, the wounds I pretend do not ache anymore. I place them in your hands, not to forget them, but to heal them. I trust you enough to believe that you do not waste pain. You turn it into depth, into tenderness, into strength that is not loud but deeply rooted. Let this surrender be the beginning of that kind of strength. Lord, surrender the people I have been trying to fix, the ones I love so much that their struggle feels like mine, the ones I ache for, cry for, worry over, the ones I can change no matter how hard I try. I release the illusion that I am their answer. I am not. You are. You always have been. I lay down the pressure to say the perfect words, to be everything for everyone, to carry hearts that were never mine to carry. They belong to you. Help me to love them, not by holding tighter, but by trusting you more. I surrender the fear of being misunderstood, the fear of not being enough, the fear of being too much, the fear of disappointing people who do not even see the battle inside me. I lay down the need to explain myself, to defend myself, to be seen in a certain way. I let go of the exhausting attempt to manage everyone else's opinion. I only want to be faithful to you, to be honest, to be whole. And God, I surrender the outcome of today. I have plans, but I give them to you. I have worries, but I lay them down. I have needs, but I trust you to provide. I ask you to order my steps, not based on pressure, but based on purpose. If the schedule changes, let me move with grace. If interruptions come, let me greet them with kindness. If I feel unproductive by the world's standards, remind me that obedience is more important than output. I do not want to walk through this day clenched and tense. I want to walk light, free, anchored in something deeper than performance. I want to feel the peace of someone who knows her soul is held, who knows the weight has been lifted, who knows that surrender is not weakness, it is worship. Father, I surrender my reputation, my dreams, my ideas of what my life should look like. I give you the version I had planned and make space for the version you are creating. Even when it looks different, even when it feels delayed, even when it costs more than I expected. Let me trust that what you have is always better, even when I do not yet see how. I surrender the voice that says I have to earn your love, the whisper that says I have to do more. Be more. Give more before I can rest. You have already called me beloved. You have already made room for me at the table. I do not have to hustle to be held. I am already yours. Teach me how to live from that truth, not just talk about it. Teach me how to breathe in grace and exhale striving. This is not a one-time surrender. I know I will try to pick things back up. I know I will forget and tighten my grip again. But for this morning, right now, I release it all. Not because I have the strength, because you are strong enough to hold what I cannot. I trust that surrender is not the end, it is the beginning. The beginning of freedom, the beginning of peace, the beginning of clarity, not through control, but through letting go. Let this surrender shape the rest of my day. Let it mark every interaction, every task, every pause. Let it be the lens through which I see everything else. When I start to worry, let surrender rise up and silence the fear. When I feel the urge to perform, let surrender remind me that I am already enough. When I feel overwhelmed, let surrender draw me back to stillness. Father, I no longer want to carry what you have asked me to place down. I no longer want to wear strength as a mask while my soul aches for rest. I want to live open, honest, empty enough for you to fill, weak enough for your power to shine through, light enough to rise when you call. So I let it go, all of it. The known, the unknown, the future, the past, the pressure, the fear. I drop it, stone by stone, into your river, and I watch it disappear beneath the surface. I watch as the ripples spread. I breathe in the lightness that follows, and I feel, for the first time in a long time, the grace of hands finally free. Lord, now that my hands are open, Now that the stones have dropped and the weight has slipped into the current of surrender, I am left with something unfamiliar. Space. A strange stillness where the pressure used to live. I want to say it feels peaceful, and in some ways, it does. But I also admit there is a quiet discomfort that comes with release. I have laid everything down, and now I must learn to trust what I cannot yet see. I confess, Father, that I have been more comfortable with outcomes than with the in-between. I like answers. I like knowing what comes next. But here, in this open space after surrender, I face the reality that faith does not always give me a map. Sometimes it simply gives me your hand in the dark. And that has to be enough. You are the God of what is hidden, the God who sees what I cannot, the God who works in places I cannot reach. You move in silence, in mystery, in timing I often question, but you do move. You do not forget. You do not leave things undone. And this morning, I need to trust that truth more than anything else. I need to believe that just because I cannot trace the progress, that does not mean nothing is happening. Teach me to live in the unseen with confidence, not because I can predict the outcome, but because I know the one who holds the process. I want to rest in you, even when I feel suspended in the middle. I want to wait with peace, not panic, with stillness, not scrambling, with faith, not fear. I think about the seed, buried beneath the surface, covered in soil, hidden from view. There is no light, no applause, no proof that growth is coming. And yet it waits. It trusts the process, even in darkness. And eventually, without warning, life breaks through. The green shoots reach for the sun. The fruit forms in time. But it all began in that buried place, that silent place, that sacred, unseen place. Let my heart be like that seed. Let me not fear the seasons where I cannot see what you are doing. Let me trust that even when I feel buried, I am being prepared, that even in obscurity, transformation is happening, that even in the silence, you are near. Lord, help me see with spiritual eyes, eyes that look past the surface, past what the world measures as progress, past what others can affirm. Let me see through the lens of eternity, where faithfulness matters more than visibility, where obedience counts more than recognition, where presence outweighs productivity. Sometimes I panic when I can't measure the fruit. I get restless when things feel stagnant. I begin to doubt when nothing seems to shift. But maybe it is not stagnation. Maybe it is gestation. Maybe you are forming something deep within me, beneath the surface of what I can explain. Give me the grace to remain grounded in this space. Not passive, but peaceful. Not checked out, but tuned in. Let me listen more than I strive. Let me lean in more than I try to push forward. Let me rest in the knowing that you are not just working for me. You are working in me. There are dreams I have surrendered that feel like they have disappeared. Prayers I have spoken that have not returned with answers. Hopes I have released that feel quiet now. But I believe you are still holding them. still watering them, still tending to their roots. You are not careless. You are not cruel. You are kind, even when I do not understand your ways. And so I trust you with the spaces in my story that feel unfinished. I trust you with the chapters that have not been written. I trust you with the ground that seems bare, but is really full of hidden life. You are Lord of the unseen, the God of slow miracles, the master of invisible movement. Let me not mistake delay for denial. Let me not assume silence means absence. Let me not judge the outcome before the fullness of time. You are the God who takes what is small and grows it, who takes what is hidden and reveals it in beauty, who takes what looks like death and breathes new life. You do not need me to see everything. You need me to trust, to keep walking, to keep showing up with an open heart. You need me to believe that my story is still unfolding and that your hands are all over the pages, even when I cannot see the ink. Father, I give you the questions I have not been able to answer, the ones that circle in my mind when I lie awake at night. I lay them down, not because they do not matter, but because I believe you are not threatened by them. You are not offended by doubt. You invite me to bring it close, and in that closeness, you slowly turn uncertainty into peace. There is a kind of courage required in the waiting, a quiet strength that only grows in the dark. So let me be brave in the places where no one sees. Let me be steady when the road feels invisible. Let me be anchored in the truth of who you are, not in the shifting conditions around me. And when the doubt returns, as it sometimes does, remind me of the faithfulness behind me. Remind me of the moments when I did not see the path, but you made a way. Remind me of the times I thought it was over, and you were just getting started. Let those memories hold me steady when my sight is limited. Even now, I know you are working behind the scenes. Even now, angels are being sent. Doors are being formed. People are being positioned. Answers are being aligned. I do not need to manage what only you can orchestrate. I only need to stay close, to remain present, to believe that while I am still, you are active. So here I am, in this quiet morning light, with eyes that cannot see the whole picture, but a heart that wants to trust. Let that be enough for today. Let that trust be the seed of something beautiful. Let it root deep. Let it grow strong. Let it hold even when the winds come. You are faithful in what is hidden. You are sovereign over what is unfolding. And I choose again, in this very breath, to place my hope in you, not because I see, but because I believe. Not because I know what will happen, but because I know who you are. You are Lord of the unseen, and that is enough for me today. Father, as I continue to walk through this quiet morning with you, I recognize how easily my heart drifts, even after surrendering and trusting what I cannot see. There is a part of me that still wanders. It is like the tide in my soul pulls me away from stillness, away from you, again and again. But even in the drifting, I find myself always drawn back to one place: your presence. It is the only place where I feel safe, real, known. The only place where my racing thoughts calm and my spinning fears lose their grip. It amazes me, Lord, how much I crave peace, and yet how easily I forget where peace actually lives. not in the completion of my tasks, not in the fixing of my circumstances, not in the answers I chase. Peace lives in you. It always has. And you are not far. You never have been. You are closer than breath, more constant than the sunrise, more faithful than the turning of time. You are here, now, and I do not want to miss this moment. Teach me how to be here, fully, not just physically still, but mentally present, emotionally honest, spiritually aware. I do not want to skim the surface of this day. I want to sink deep into your nearness, to lean into your whisper, to live from the awareness that I am not alone, that I am held, that you are not simply watching from a distance, but you are with me, in me, around me, so present that even the silence holds weight. I confess, God, that sometimes I let my need to be productive overshadow my need to be present. I fill the quiet with noise. I run from rest because I have convinced myself that worth is found in doing. But today, I want to reverse that lie. I want to live as if being with you is not a pause in my life, it is the pulse of it. Everything flows from here. From you, from this grounding, from this anchoring in the truth of who you are and who I am in you. Let this stillness shape how I see everything. Let it slow my speech, soften my reactions, guide my choices. Let me live from a place of rootedness, not reactivity. From intention, not impulse. From connection, not chaos. When the world pulls me into its whirlwind, bring me back here, to this quiet place within, where you and I meet, where I remember what really matters. Lord, I need your presence more than answers, more than escape, more than comfort. I need you, not what you can do for me, not what you can fix, not even what you can teach. Just you. Your nearness is the gift. Your closeness is the miracle. Let my heart become increasingly aware of you, not just in the sacred moments, but in the ordinary ones. When I brush my teeth, when I fold the laundry, when I check my phone or sit in traffic or sip my morning tea. Let all of it be holy because you are there with me. Sometimes I feel guilty for not feeling you, for walking through hours or days without remembering you are here. But I thank you that your presence does not depend on my awareness. You are not distant just because I am distracted. You stay. You stay when I forget. You stay when I wander. You stay when I am overwhelmed, weary, lost. And every time I turn my gaze back to you, you are right where I left you, never having left me at all. Thank you for being an anchor in a world of motion, a steady rock when everything shifts, a quiet center when the noise becomes too loud. I wrap my thoughts around you now, intentionally, deliberately, holding fast to the truth that I do not have to strive to be close. I already am. I just need to remember, to breathe, to lean in. God, there is a peace that does not make sense, a calm that comes when nothing else changes, a security that is not tied to results. That is the kind of peace I want to carry today, Not a peace based on plans working out, but a peace rooted in presence. Your presence. Let it go before me into every room I enter. Let it fill every word I speak. Let it overflow in every encounter I have. I know there will be moments today when I forget, when I rush, when I stress, when I slip back into the old patterns of fear and frenzy. But even then, I trust you will be there, calling me back, calling me home. My soul knows the way to you, even when my thoughts get lost. And I pray that your gentle hand will always redirect me, always center me, always whisper, I am here. Let your presence not just be my refuge, but my rhythm. Let it beat like a steady drum beneath everything I do. Let it guide the pace of my steps, the shape of my day, the tone of my conversations. Let me move slowly enough to notice the beauty around me, the kindness in someone else's eyes, the warmth of sunlight through the window, the softness of grace woven into ordinary things. Father, I do not want to visit your presence. I want to dwell in it, to live from it, to make it my permanent address. Teach me how to carry this stillness with me, not in silence alone, but in awareness, in mindfulness, in the quiet assurance that no matter what happens outside of me, there is a calm within me that cannot be shaken because it is rooted in you. And when I feel shaken, when life does more than whisper and instead screams chaos, when grief returns or fear rises or disappointment echoes again, let that inner place remain untouched. Let it hold firm, not because I am strong, but because you are. Not because I have mastered peace, but because I have made space for it. For you, for this anchoring presence that always welcomes me back. Your presence is not a destination. It is a homecoming, a constant invitation, a sacred thread that weaves through every hour. So I take hold of it now. I wrap it around my heart and tie it to my spirit. I rest in it. I walk with it. I breathe in its comfort. And I thank you, again, for being the one place I never have to pretend, never have to perform, never have to strive. Just be, just return, just rest. Here I am, Father, grounded in you, anchored in stillness, rooted in presence, and ready to walk this day. Not alone, not hurried, but held, Lord, as I rest in the quiet of your presence and breathe in the stillness that has steadied me. My heart gently drifts backward, not to dwell in sorrow, but to remember, to recall the footprints you have left along the path of my life. Sometimes I forget. I move through the present with eyes clouded by uncertainty, forgetting all the ways you have shown up before. But this morning, I pause and let memory become a sacred altar. I revisit the times when I was certain all was lost, yet somehow you made a way. You were there in the hidden places, orchestrating hope when I only saw endings. God, you were the strength in seasons when I thought I would not make it, when grief sat heavy on my chest and joy felt like a language I no longer understood. You were there, not loud, not forceful, but present. You whispered through the kindness of a friend, the warmth of an unexpected sunrise, the silence that somehow still held peace. You kept showing up, even when I stopped looking, even when I stopped asking, even when I doubted you were near. I remember now, not just to feel comfort, but to rebuild my faith with stones of testimony. Every time I questioned if you saw me, you responded not always in the way I expected, but always with love. You were patient when I was restless, steady when I was shaken, gentle when I was raw. And though I did not always understand the process, I now see the thread of your faithfulness running through every tangled moment. So today I choose to recall, not with bitterness or regret, but with sacred wonder. I remember the small victories, the bills that somehow got paid, the healing that slowly came, the mornings I woke up with enough strength to keep going, when the night before I had none. I remember the doors that closed and, in hindsight, how that closure protected me from harm I could not see. I remember the relationships that faded, the ones that broke, and how even in the you were writing something deeper in me. Something about letting go, about trusting what I cannot control, about surrendering to love that does not leave. Father, these memories are sacred. They are my reminders. When fear whispers that nothing will change, these moments rise up to answer. He has never failed you. When doubt tries to convince me that I am alone, these memories testify. You were never abandoned. When despair knocks and offers resignation, my soul remembers the times you carried me through darker valleys, and I find the strength to hope again. I do not always see your hand while I am walking. Sometimes it is only afterward, in the stillness, that I notice how close you really were, how intricately you wove the pain into purpose, how faithfully you turned endings into beginnings. And if you did it then, surely you can do it again. Surely the same God who stood by me in the wilderness will walk with me through the storm. Surely the same God who breathed life into dead places will not leave me in this moment of waiting. Remind me again, God, of your track record. Let me hear the stories of old not as distant echoes, but as declarations that still ring true today. The God who parted seas and raised the broken and opened prison doors is still working now. In my life, in this heart, in the places I have yet to understand. Let me carry the testimonies of yesterday like lanterns into my unknown tomorrows. Let them light the path and chase away the lie that you have forgotten me. Lord, I confess that I often ask for a sign, forgetting that my life is already full of them. Every breath I take, every morning I wake, every time I have survived what I thought would break me, these are miracles too. They are not small. They are not insignificant. They are proof that grace has followed me, even when I was not following it. And now I hold these moments close, not because I am stuck in the past, but because I am building my courage for the future. Let gratitude rise within me as a defense against doubt. Let thankfulness become my shield, protecting me from the lies that try to blur your goodness. Let remembrance become a practice, not just for when I feel low, but for every day so that my heart stays anchored in truth. Let me become fluent in praise, even when the circumstances do not change, because praise is the language of those who have seen your hand and cannot forget. Help me write these memories on the walls of my soul, so when the winds blow, I can lean back against them and stand firm. Help me remind myself not once, not occasionally, but constantly of who you have always been. A God who rescues, a God who redeems, a God who remains, a God who does not disappear when life gets hard, a God who delights in being near, who bends low to hear even the whisper of a broken spirit. And in the remembering, Lord, let my trust grow. Let it deepen like roots reaching down into the soil of past faithfulness. Let it become the well from which I draw courage. Let it be the melody that carries me through days when I forget how to sing. Because you have been so good to me, not just in the big ways, but in the quiet mercies, the unseen provisions, the times you protected me from things did not even know were coming, the gentle rerouting, the slow healing, the transformation that began with one whispered prayer. So I sit here this morning and trace the map of where we have been, the valleys and peaks, the moments of silence and the bursts of glory. And I say thank you. Not just because it is polite, not just because it is expected, but because my heart cannot remain quiet when it remembers the ways you have carried me. Thank you for the times you waited while I ran, for the times you answered when I did not even know what to ask, for the moments you poured out kindness when I deserved nothing. I carry these memories into this new day. I'll have wrap her around me like a cloak of assurance. I hold them not as distant history, but as present power. And I trust that the same God who showed up then is still here now, that the love which saw me through before will not fail me today, that the grace which rescued me once will rise again. And as I move forward, I move remembering. I walk not empty-handed, but with a heart full of proof that I am not forgotten, not forsaken, not alone. Lord, in the stillness of this morning, where remembrance has stirred gratitude within me, I now turn to the moments that remain clouded. Even as I recall all the times you carried me through, I must also face the moments I do not yet understand. There are places in my life where the fog has not lifted, and the path forward feels uncertain. I do not want to pretend I have all the answers. I do not want to cover confusion with a mask of certainty. I come honestly before you, with questions I still cannot solve, and decisions weighing heavily on my spirit. Father, I do not ask for instant solutions, but I ask for clarity. I do not need every step laid out ahead, but I long to hear your voice saying, "This is the way." I have come to know that confusion is not always the enemy. Sometimes it draws me closer to your presence. Sometimes it is the silence between questions and answers that becomes holy ground. But I admit, I grow weary in the waiting. I get lost in my thoughts, tangled in what-ifs and maybes, afraid of choosing wrong. I need your peace to quiet my overthinking. I need your whisper to cut through the noise of doubt. God, you are not the author of confusion, but of peace. So I ask you to bring that peace into the chaotic spaces of my mind. I lay before you every situation that feels too big to manage, every crossroad I cannot navigate on my own, every heartache that keeps me from thinking clearly. Show me where I have leaned too hard on my own understanding. Show me where pride or fear has distorted my view, and gently guide me back to your wisdom, which is pure and steady and full of light. Lord, I want to walk in alignment with your will, not just with good intentions or clever plans, but with a heart that listens and responds. Help me notice your nudges, the quiet impressions that guide without force. Teach me to trust those small holy instincts that come not from pulse, but from intimacy with you. Help me recognize when to move and when to wait, when to speak and when to be still. Let discernment rise in me like sunlight through morning mist, revealing the landscape of truth hidden beneath uncertainty. Sometimes I want signs. I want the sky to part or the ground to shake. But more often, you speak in gentle ways, a line from Scripture that echoes through my spirit, a stillness that settles my heart, a conversation that answers a question I did not even know how to ask. Remind me not to dismiss these sacred subtleties. Remind me that you are always speaking, even when I am straining to hear. Father, I surrender the need to have everything figured out. I surrender the pressure to make perfect choices. I surrender the fear of failure that keeps me paralyzed. Instead, I ask for wisdom, not the kind that puffs up, but the kind that roots me in grace. The kind that teaches me to ask the right questions, to seek counsel with humility, to move slowly when needed and boldly when called. Let your wisdom settle in me like an anchor, so I will not be tossed by every wave of doubt. I know clarity does not always come in the form of immediate answers. Sometimes it comes in the form of peace that allows me to keep walking, even with unanswered questions. So give me that peace, Lord, that deep knowing that I am not abandoned in this moment, that you are guiding me even when the next step feels hidden, that you are already in the future I fear, preparing the path with hands I cannot see. God, if I have built anything on confusion, tear it down gently. If I have aligned myself with ideas or desires that do not come from you, reveal them in love. If my motivations are tangled with self-protection or fear of rejection, untangle them with truth. I do not want to build a life that looks stable on the outside, but crumbles underneath. I want you at the foundation. I want to know that even when the answers shift, your voice remains steady. Lord, help me distinguish between the noise of my own thoughts and the sound of your leading. Let your voice rise above the internal chaos. Cut through the clutter of fear, the rush of assumptions, the chatter of insecurity. Let me hear you in the quiet, in the ordinary, in the slow unfolding of each moment. You are not hiding from me. You are not distant. You are here, in the breath between my questions. Teach me to recognize your nearness, not by sight, but by the stillness you bring when I truly let go. I know clarity does not always mean comfort. Sometimes it challenges me to step into the unknown. Sometimes it stretches me beyond what I thought I could handle. But I trust that what you reveal is always for my good. That even when you call me to hard places, you never leave me there alone. So I say yes to clarity, not just so I can avoid mistakes, but so I can walk in deeper fellowship with you. I say yes to your light shining into the shadows. I say yes to your truth correcting my assumptions. I say yes to letting go of control in exchange for divine direction. Help me become a person who walks by faith with eyes fixed not on the fog, but on the one who walks through it with me. Help me grow more confident, not in my understanding, but in your unfailing guidance. Let clarity begin with surrender. Let it flow from trust. Let it be birthed not from striving, but from sitting quietly with you until the fear breaks and the truth rises. God, I believe you want to guide me. I believe you care about the small details of my life. I believe you still speak, and that your sheep still hear your voice. So I lean in this morning, not to demand answers, but to welcome your presence. And I ask, in the gentlest way I know how, speak to me. Show me what I need to see. Align my steps with your heartbeat. Let this be the day confusion begins to lose its grip, and clarity begins to dawn like the first light rising over a restless sea. Lord, if clarity begins with surrender, then here I am again, returning to the place where I open my hands and release what I was never meant to carry alone. I feel the lingering echoes of uncertainty still humming in the corners of my heart, but I do not want to cling to control as a false comfort anymore. I am learning that control has never truly kept me safe. It has only kept me distant. Distant from your will, distant from peace, distant from trust. So I come now, not to ask for things to go my way, but to let go of my way altogether and rest in yours. Father, this letting go does not come easily. I admit how deeply I want to manage every outcome, shape every conversation, anticipate every risk, and avoid every pain. There is something in me that fears surrender because it feels like loss. And yet, I know that clinging has cost me more than release ever could. The need to control has worn me out, stolen my sleep, poisoned my joy, and strained my relationships. I have tried to orchestrate peace through striving, but it never lasts. And now I see that true peace only comes through surrender. So I offer you everything, not just the polished parts, but the broken ones too, the disappointments I still carry, the wounds I have tried to ignore, the dreams I have not dared to pray aloud. I offer you my timeline, the way I thought things should happen, the pace I demanded, the pressure I put on myself to always keep moving. I offer you my expectations, the ones that have become silent tyrants in my heart. I offer you the relationships I have tried to fix and the ones I have feared losing. I place them in your hands, one by one. Not because I have given up, but because I finally trust that you know better than I do. God, teach me the holy art of surrender, not as defeat, but as the beginning of something deeper. Let me learn to live with open hands and a willing heart. Let me find rest in your sovereignty. Let me remember that surrender is not weakness, it is worship. It is the moment I declare that you are God and I am not, that I trust your wisdom over my preferences, your timing over my urgency, your plan over my pressure. This is the posture I long to live in, low, yielded, quiet before you. Lord, I surrender the outcomes I have tried to force, the apologies I never received, the closure I thought I needed, the justice I waited for. I surrender the need to be understood, the desire to prove my worth, the impulse to fix what is not mine to fix. I surrender the questions I cannot answer, the prayers that still feel suspended in silence. I surrender the parts of my past I wish I could change, and the unknowns of the future that stir anxiety in me. I place all of it before you, trusting that you are already holding what I have struggled to control. Help me resist the urge to take it back once I have laid it down. When fear creeps in again, and I am tempted to grasp and manage and plan from a place of panic. Remind me to return to surrender. Remind me of how light the burden feels when I am no longer dragging it alone. Let me choose release again and again, until it becomes my rhythm, until surrender feels more natural than striving. God, you never asked me to carry what only you can hold. You never asked me to save myself, heal myself, or navigate life alone. That pressure was never from you. So today, I drop the expectations I have placed on myself that you never placed there. I drop the illusion that I must always be strong, always have the answer, always get it right. Instead, I receive your grace like rain, soaking through the cracked soil of my soul. Grace that says I do not have to be perfect. I just have to be present. Lord, let surrender shape my prayers, not prayers filled only with requests, but prayers marked by release. Let me speak less from desperation and more from trust. Let me ask with open hands and let go with open heart. Let me bring my hopes before you with boldness, but leave them at your feet without fear. If you say wait, I will wait. If you say no, I will trust that no is protection. If you say go, I will go with courage born from obedience. Sometimes surrender feels like silence. It feels like doing nothing, but really it is doing the most powerful thing of all. It is choosing you over my own understanding. It is saying, I do not need to know because I know the one who does. That is the kind of trust I want, the kind that steadies me when everything else feels unstable, the kind that anchors me not to what I can control, but to who you are. Father, help me live with less clenched fists and more outstretched arms. Let my heart be open to the unexpected ways you work. Help me celebrate what you bring and release what you remove. Let surrender be a daily practice, not just a one-time moment. Let it show in the way I speak, in the way I love others, in the way I rest, in the way I wait. Let it mark my life with freedom instead of fear, with gentleness instead of striving. God, thank you that you do not shame me for struggling to surrender. Thank you that you walk patiently with me, even when I come back with the same worries I thought I had already released. You do not push me away for faltering. You hold me closer. You understand that letting go takes time, that learning to trust again comes in layers, and you never stop inviting me deeper into that trust. You never stop whispering, I am with you. So let this be the day I trust you more than yesterday. Let this be the day surrender becomes my song, my strength, my offering. Let me feel the release in my bones, the quiet in my spirit, the ease that comes when I stop wrestling with what I cannot change. Let me walk into today lighter, freer, steadier, not because the problems disappeared, because I chose to lay them at your feet and walk away with empty hands and a full heart. Father, I come before you in the stillness that lingers after surrender, carrying not the weight of burdens, but the ache of time. I have laid down what I cannot control, and now I sit with the reality of waiting. It is a quiet space, yet it echoes with longing. The waiting place is not empty, it is filled with questions, with half-formed hopes, with the fragile belief that what I cannot yet see is still worth trusting. You see me here. Do not you? You see the tension in my soul, stretched between faith and frustration. Lord, I confess that waiting can feel like wandering. The days blend together, and progress seems invisible. I know that you are working in ways I cannot always perceive. Yet my heart still hungers for something tangible, something I can hold on to. Waiting tests me in places I did not know were weak. It exposes my restlessness, my impatience, my craving for certainty. I want to know what is next, when the answer will come, how the story will unfold. But maybe this is where you teach me to value your presence over your answers. God, remind me that waiting is not punishment. It is preparation. In the soil of delay, you are cultivating deeper roots. You are anchoring my faith not in outcomes, but in you alone. I am learning that strength does not come from hurrying through seasons, but from standing firm within them. You are teaching me to breathe here, to trust the unfolding, to be okay with not knowing. This is where trust becomes real, not in the arrival, but in the anticipation. Father, let me not mistake your silence for absence. Let me not confuse stillness with neglect. Help me remember that even when heaven seems quiet, you are not idle. You are aligning things in ways beyond my understanding. You are weaving together what I could never orchestrate on my own. And though I cannot yet see the finished tapestry, I choose to believe that every thread matters. Even this thread of waiting. When I grow weary, be my rest. When I grow doubtful, be my anchor. When I grow impatient, be my peace. Let me find purpose in this season. Let me notice the beauty that I would have missed had the answer come quickly. Let me cherish the intimacy that grows in the long conversations we have in the quiet. Let me be transformed here, not just transported past this moment. God, I bring to you the places in my life that feel paused, the dreams that have not yet come to life, the healing that has not yet arrived, the relationships that still feel unresolved, the direction that still feels unclear. I place them all at your feet again, not with bitterness, but with quiet expectancy. Because you are not late, you are intentional. You are never bound by my sense of urgency. Help me to worship while I wait, not only with songs, but with a heart that chooses gratitude over grumbling, hope over despair. Let my waiting be active, filled with faith, filled with love, filled with quiet acts of obedience. Let me serve even when I do not feel strong. Let me love even when I feel unseen. Let me rejoice in the small signs of progress, in the gentle ways you remind me that you are near. Father, when others seem to move forward while I stand still, protect my heart from comparison. Let me not measure my journey by theirs. Each path is different. Each story unfolds according to your perfect design. I am not forgotten. I am not behind. I am exactly where you want me to be. And you will not leave me here without purpose. Lord, when the enemy whispers that I have been overlooked, that nothing will change, that it is foolish to keep hoping, help me remember your promises. Help me recall the times you came through when I least expected it. Help me remember that you are the same yesterday, today, and forever. You are faithful in the delay, just as you are faithful in the breakthrough. Let waiting refine me, not define me. Let it build resilience, not resentment. Let it teach me joy that does not depend on outcomes, peace that does not require answers, faith that stands even when nothing moves. This is holy ground, the place between what was and what will be. And here, in this sacred in-between, I choose to worship. I choose to stay present. I choose to believe. God, thank you that I do not wait alone. You are with me in the in-between. You walk with me in the unhurried hours. You speak to me in the stillness. You hold me when the ache grows loud, and you promise that those who wait on you will renew their strength, will rise up with wings like eagles, will run and not grow weary, will walk and not faint. Let that be my portion today, not because I earned it, but because I trust the one who gives it. So here I am, still waiting, but not without hope. Still longing, but not without faith. Still walking, but not without you. Let the waiting not be wasted. Let it become a wellspring of strength that I draw from even in future storms. Let it teach me who you are more than what you give. Let it reveal your goodness, your wisdom, your timing that is always better than mine. Father, if I must wait, let me wait well. Let me wait with grace. Let me wait with humility. Let me wait with expectation, not entitlement. Let me wait with a posture that says, even here, even now, you are enough. Let every sunrise in this waiting season remind me that you are still at work, still creating beauty, still writing stories worth telling. Let each morning be an invitation to trust again. And when the waiting ends, whenever that may be, let me not forget what I learned here. Let me carry the peace you gave me in the delay into the joy of the arrival. Let me never rush past these quiet days, but treasure them as the place where my faith grew deeper roots. This is not a wasted season. This is a sacred one. And you, Father, are worthy of trust in every moment of it. Lord, as I continue this journey with you, I bring to you the quiet uncertainty that lingers when the way forward is not clear. The waiting has stretched my faith, and now I stand at the threshold of decisions that feel blurred by fog. I want to move, to act, to step boldly into the next thing, but I cannot see the full picture. I only see the next few feet in front of me, and even that seems dim. Yet I sense you whispering that trust does not require clarity, it only requires surrender. I do not need to see the whole road to keep walking. I just need to hold your hand. Father, teach me how to walk by faith and not by sight. I know those words well, but living them is another matter. My mind seeks answers, logic, timelines. I want guarantees before I act. But you are calling me to something deeper, something stronger, a trust that does not depend on details, a peace that does not hinge on control. You are not asking me to map the future. You are asking me to follow the shepherd's voice, to take the step, even when the next is unseen. And in this sacred tension between action and surrender, you are refining me. God, help me to stop straining to predict what only you can plan. You are the author of my story. You hold the pen, and though I am tempted to grab it and write my own ending, I know that your handwriting is more beautiful than anything I could draft. Let me lean into that truth. Let me wake up each day not with anxiety, but with expectation, not because I know what will happen, but because I know the one who does. Even when the path is hidden, the guide is not. You walk with me, Lord. In the times when my feet hesitate, remind me of the times you led me through darkness into light. You have never abandoned me. Not once. Even in seasons that made no sense. You were there. You protected me from unseen dangers. You whispered wisdom into my confusion. You opened doors I did not know existed. If you were faithful then, you will be faithful now. My uncertainty is not new to you. My hesitation does not scare you. You meet me here, and you speak gently. Sometimes, God, I confuse hiddenness with punishment. I wonder if you are silent because I did something wrong. I question if my inability to see means I have lost your favor. But you remind me that even the darkest valley does not mean abandonment. It means you are leading me through something. You are with me in it, not punishing me by it. Even Jesus walked through Gethsemane. Even he did not always see the full picture from his human perspective, yet he trusted. And I want to trust like that, not with perfect strength, but with willing surrender. Father, I lay down the illusion that I must always understand. I let go of the pressure to make everything make sense. Sometimes, you ask me to go without knowing why. Sometimes, you ask me to pause without telling me for how long. And both require faith. Both demand a heart that chooses to lean. Not leap. So I lean, Lord, not because I am strong, but because you are. I lean on your promises. I lean on your character. I lean on your history with me. And I believe that the path will unfold not all at once, but step by step. Lord, when others seem to move ahead with confidence, while I feel stuck in uncertainty, guard my heart from envy. Guard me from comparison. Every path is different. Every journey is sacred. You are not late. You are intentional. And you do not operate by human clocks. Your timing is rooted in love, not haste. Let me rest in that. Let me breathe in that truth when my mind races to figure it all out. Let peace be the compass I follow. Let your spirit be the light to my feet. God, I surrender my need to see it all. I open my hands to the unknown. I choose trust. Even when it is uncomfortable, I choose belief. Even when doubt knocks loudly, I choose to walk, even if I walk slowly. Because walking with you is better than running without you. And even a hidden path is holy when you are in it. Lead me not just in clarity, but in courage. Make me brave in the not knowing. Let me wake up each day with a heart that says, even here, even now, you are guiding me. Father, I bring to you the decisions I do not yet know how to make, the paths I do not yet know how to choose, the relationships I do not yet know how to navigate. You see it all. You hold it all. Let your peace rule in my heart, not my fear. Let your wisdom rise above my analysis. Let me be led, not driven. Let me move at the pace of grace. You are not in a rush, and you are not rushing me. You are forming me in the fog. You are shaping trust, not just outcomes. and that trust will become the foundation of my future steps. Lord, when I grow anxious, draw me back into stillness. When I grow frustrated, remind me of your faithfulness. When I grow tired, lift me. Let me find comfort in your presence, not just in answers. Let me remember that even if the path is unclear, the presence is near, and that nearness is my truest security. Let me cling to that truth when everything else feels like shifting sand. You are my rock. You are my direction, even when the signs are hidden. You are the light that never goes out. God, thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for not demanding perfection, but simply presence. Thank you for walking beside me when I do not know where to go. Thank you for being the kind of father who never grows weary of guiding, who never sighs in frustration at my questions, who never leaves me to navigate alone. I am yours, and even when I can see the path, I can still see you, and that is enough. So here I am, uncertain, but not undone, hesitant, but not hopeless, waiting, but not wandering. I lift my eyes again, not to the horizon, but to the one who made it. You will lead me through this, just as you have before, and one day I will look back and see that even the hidden places were holy. Because you were there, even the unseen steps were sacred. Because you were guiding them, I do not walk alone, and I never will. Lord, as I rise again into this new day, I feel the remnants of yesterday's questions still lingering in my heart. The ache of not knowing, of not being able to shape the outcome, sits quietly in my chest like a stone that refuses to move. And yet, here I am again before you, not because I have figured it all out, but because I am learning to lay it all down. You are not asking me to orchestrate every detail or predict every turn. You are asking me to release my grip, to trust that the story is not mine to control, but yours to complete. Father, I confess that my desire to control often masquerades as responsibility. I tell myself I must hold it all together, carry every burden, fix every flaw, and plan for every possibility. But what I call preparation, you sometimes call fear. What I call being strong, you see as me refusing to lean. And so I bring it all to you now, not in shame, but in surrender. I bring you the need to manage every outcome, the desire to prevent every failure, the urgency to make life safe, predictable, and pain-free. These things have exhausted me. They were never mine to carry. God, I remember how you spoke creation into being without consulting a plan B. You did not ask the stars if they were ready. You did not beg the sun to rise. You simply commanded, and it was so. And yet, I live like the weight of the world depends on my choices. Like one mistake from me can unravel what you have destined. But you are sovereign even in my imperfections. You are not panicked by my uncertainty. You are not surprised by the detours I take. You use even what was never intended to work for good. My control is not your requirement. My trust is, Lord, help me stop measuring peace by how much I can manage. Help me stop thinking I need a backup plan for every dream, a cushion for every risk, a guarantee for every step. That is not faith, it is fear dressed in strategy. Let me trade control for confidence in you. Let me trust the divine timing that has never failed me. When I am tempted to micromanage life, remind me that your ways are higher. When I scramble for answers, still my soul with the truth that you are already working in what I cannot yet see. Father, I release to you the timelines I have created, the outcomes I have demanded, the scripts I have written in my mind and rehearsed in my heart. I lay down the version of my life that only exists in my expectations and receive instead the version you are shaping, holy and unknown. I open my clenched fists. I breathe deeply. I rest my striving. You are not a God who blesses frantic effort. You are a God who honors quiet trust. And I want to be a child in your arms again, unafraid to let go. God, when control slips through my hands, let me remember that it was never mine to hold. You have always been the one steering the ship. Even when I thought I was in charge, it was your mercy guiding me around unseen reefs and your grace pushing me forward when I was stuck. So I choose to step back from the wheel. I choose to surrender not because I am weak, but because I am learning what real strength is. Real strength is resting in your power, not my performance. Lord, in those moments when things do not go according to plan, when doors close, when people walk away, when dreams shift, let me not rush to fix what feels broken. Let me first ask if this is your redirection, if this is not rejection, but rescue, if this is not failure, but freedom. I want to be more sensitive to your hand than my plans. I want to see interruptions as invitations to pause, to listen, to let you lead me down a better way. Even when I do not understand, let me lean into the mystery, trusting that no part of this journey is wasted when it is surrendered to you. Father, you know the places where I still hold tight, the fears that whisper I must stay in control or everything will fall apart. The memories of when I let go and felt pain and I told myself never again. But you are showing me that letting go is not about losing. It is about gaining a deeper freedom, a lighter heart, a clearer path. When I release what I was never meant to hold, I make space for the miracles I would be missed. I make space for you, God. When I wake in the night with racing thoughts, teach me to speak your name instead of spinning scenarios. When I am tempted to overanalyze every conversation, let me breathe and say, God is in control. When I want to fix someone else's pain, remind me that only you are Savior. And when I feel overwhelmed by the weight of expectations, remind me that you never asked me to carry what does not belong to me. My job is not to control. My calling is to trust. Lord, I thank you that you do not shame me for struggling with control. You meet me in the wrestle. You invite me into peace, again and again. You are patient as I loosen my grip. You are kind as I learn to walk differently, and in each small surrender, I feel the breath of freedom. I hear the whisper of grace. I sense the quiet joy of knowing I am not alone. I am not in charge. And that is a relief, not a loss. Father, you are the God who leads gently, who does not force, but invites, who does not pressure, but draws near. Today, I step into that invitation. I stop chasing certainty and start chasing you. I stop demanding outcomes and start depending on your heart. You are not a God who withholds. You are a God who weaves all things together, even the unexpected, for my good. So I open my hands again. I lift them to you not in fear, but in faith. And I whisper in the quiet, "Have your way, Lord." And somehow, in that whisper, I find rest. Somehow, in that release, I feel whole. Not because I have figured it all out, but because I have remembered who you are. And that is enough for this moment. That is enough for this day. That is enough for the life I am learning to live, not in control, but in communion with you, Lord. As the soft hush of morning lingers, and the world has yet to fully awaken, I carry forward the peace I found in letting go, and I place it gently into the stillness you offer. The surrender of control brought such unexpected clarity, so now, with open hands and a quieter heart, I long to step into a deeper awareness of the simple, holy gifts you have woven into the ordinary. I want to learn how to see again, not with tired eyes chasing more, but with renewed vision that finds beauty in enough. God, help me rediscover the wonder that resides not in the grand, but in the humble and unassuming. Let me not overlook the sacredness of a sunrise, the warmth of a shared smile, the comfort of silence beside someone who understands. Teach me to unlearn the restless habits of consumption and comparison that clutter my soul. Remind me that fullness does not require excess, and joy is not found in noise, but often in the whisper of your presence carried on the breeze. There is freedom in simplicity, quiet strength in choosing less so I can feel more. Father, strip away the things that no longer serve love or purpose. Unburden me from attachments that pull my heart in too many directions. If I have sought validation in applause, approval, or achievement, redirect my gaze to what truly matters. If I have tried to fill emptiness with things that do not satisfy, guide me back to your well of living water where I can drink deeply without cost. In the mundane rhythm of this day, may I be attentive to your hidden grace. Let the act of preparing breakfast become worship. Let the slow walk to my responsibilities be an altar where I meet you. May my thoughts not race ahead in anxiety or retreat in regret, but settle gently into this breath, this heartbeat, this now. Give me the courage to be present, to pause before rushing, to choose kindness over cleverness, and to offer gratitude for what is, instead of always longing for what could be. Father, help me become a steward of simplicity, not only in possessions, but in thoughts and speech. Let my words carry less haste and more intention, less volume and more meaning. Teach me the value of restraint, the wisdom in silence, the patience in listening, the healing in saying just enough. May I reflect your gentle nature in how I show up, without pretense or pressure to impress. I want to embody peace in a world that constantly chases performance. As I declutter my outer world, declutter my inner one as well. Sweep through the rooms of my heart where fear still echoes and insecurity lingers. Replace those shadows with the lightness of contentment, born not from settling, from the joy of knowing you are enough. You are my portion, my peace, my provider. If I have you, what else could I crave? If I walk with you, why should I run after anything else? Anchor my spirit in that truth, so I may live this day with quiet assurance. Lord, You did not call me to burnout or bitterness. You called me to abide. So let me breathe more slowly. Let me laugh more fully. Let me love without calculation. May I be a calm presence in every room, a gentle voice in every conversation, and a faithful witness to the truth that life becomes more beautiful when it is not crammed with clutter, but cultivated with care. May those around me feel safe to rest near me, not because I have it all together, but because I am learning to rest in you. And when the demands of the world try to rush me again, when advertisements tell me I am lacking, when timelines pressure me to hurry, when achievements seduce me with the promise of worth, call me back to simplicity. Remind me that the richest moments often cost nothing and go unnoticed. A morning breeze, a child's laughter, the scent of bread baking, the nearness of a friend, the hum of peace that hovers when there is no striving. Let these be enough for my soul to sing. God, cultivate in me a heart that celebrates slowness and welcomes stillness. In the practice of less, let me discover more of you, more of truth, more of what I have overlooked in the noise. I do not want to keep missing what matters because I was too busy chasing what does not. Let this be the day I walk gently, speak kindly, love freely, and notice deeply. Let this be the day I taste the sweetness of your presence in the small and unremarkable. Help me to see that a simplified life is not a small life. It is a spacious one. It makes room for grace to settle, for joy to blossom, for your spirit to move freely through every ordinary task and unnoticed corner. It gives breathing space for compassion to grow, for truth to anchor, and for love to expand. May my heart become a garden not of ambitions, but of abiding, where simple things grow strong and deep. And when the evening comes and I look back on this day, may I not count my accomplishments, but the moments I noticed you, where I paused long enough to see a need and met it, where I chose peace over pride, where I opened my hands instead of holding tight. Let that be my quiet measure of success. That I lived with wonder, that I chose the better portion, that I found you again and again in the simplest of gifts. May each morning from this one forward draw me closer to this way of living, a way marked by less clutter and more clarity, less chasing and more cherishing. Let joy be found not in the next thing, but in the now. Let my soul learn to settle, and in the settling, let it bloom. Let it bloom in the soil of enough, watered by gratitude, rooted in trust, reaching always toward your light. And as the world stirs awake and the sky brightens beyond the window, let this quiet resolve remain. I will walk slowly. I will love deeply. I will live simply. Because in the end, it was never about what I had or achieved, but how fully I opened my heart to the beauty already given, the sacred gift of now, the holy treasure of simplicity, the gentle joy of walking with you through it all. Lord, as I rest in the quiet awareness that simplicity births joy, there rises within me a tender H. I can no longer ignore the H of broken trust. In this stillness, where distractions no longer blur the edges of my pain, I feel again the weight of disappointment, the wounds left by people who failed me, the letdowns I never saw coming, the fractured promises I once clung to like lifelines now lie discarded. And I confess, Father, it is hard to believe again, yet even now, I turn my heart to you not out of habit, but out of hope, because in this space of fragile honesty, I dare to believe that you are not like the ones who hurt me. You do not change with the seasons. You do not speak what you will not fulfill. You do not draw near only to turn away. I need that truth to steady me now, because parts of my soul still flinch at the thought of trusting again. So I bring these broken pieces to you, not polished or wrapped in pretense, but raw and trembling. I bring them because I want to heal. God, teach me again what trust looks like, not the naive trust that denies risk or reality, but the deep, rooted kind that grows from knowing you are steady even when people are not. I do not need all the answers right now. I just need to know you are holding the pieces, that you are not impatient with my hesitation, that you welcome my questions, my cautious steps, my battered faith. Thank you for being the kind of God who does not rush healing, who sits with me in the wreckage and whispers peace. It is hard, Lord, to love again, to open again, to hope again. But I know that if I stay closed off forever, I will not protect myself. I will only starve myself of the goodness you still want to give. So gently, slowly, with your help, I choose to lean forward. I choose to believe that not all people are careless, that not all stories end in pain, that not every reaching hand is a threat. Help me discern wisely, but not build walls so thick that even your light cannot reach me. Father, you see the memories that still sting, the moments I replay in my mind, the questions that loop through my thoughts at night. Why did they say that? Why did not they stay? How could they betray me? You see it all, and you do not look away. Thank you for being a safe place for my unspoken thoughts. Thank you for not shaming me for still feeling the ache, even when others have long moved on. In your presence, I do not have to pretend I am fine. I can be real and still be loved. Lord, I also confess where I have held onto bitterness like a shield. I have used my pain to justify closing my heart. I have allowed anger to disguise itself as strength. But I do not want to be hardened. I want to be whole. So help me forgive, not to excuse what was done, but to release its grip on my soul. Help me forgive not just the people who failed me, but the version of myself who did not know better, who stayed too long, who hoped too deeply, who gave too much. Let grace flow freely. Even backward, God, when I struggle to trust you because others have misused your name while hurting me, draw me back to who you really are. Peel away the false images I may have absorbed from broken people, and let me see you clearly. You are not the abandonment I experienced. You are not the silence I feared. You are not the rejection I internalized. You are the shepherd who stays, the father who carries, the friend who does not forget. Give me the courage to risk vulnerability again, to speak honestly with those I love, to let myself be seen, not the curated version, but the whole me. And as I rebuild, let me not lean on performance or perfection, but on the steady foundation of your truth, that I am loved, that I am safe, that you are for me and not against me, that no wound is beyond your reach, that what others broke, you can restore, that trust, though shattered, can be mended by your hands. Father, For every time I doubted your goodness because life hurt too much, I ask for mercy. For every time I accused you in my pain, assuming you had left me, I ask for grace. Help me see where you were all along, comforting through quiet moments, sending encouragement through strangers, holding me upright when I did not even know you were there. Reveal those footprints I missed. Let remembrance be part of my healing. I choose today to trust again, not because everything makes sense, but because I know you are trustworthy. You have never lied, never left, never missiled, and even when you allowed pain, you never abandoned me in it. Your silence was never absence. Your delay was never disinterest. You were shaping something deeper in me, something that could not be forged in comfort alone. God, I am still learning to believe that good things can happen after heartache, that love can bloom again, that peace can return, that I can build a new story with open hands instead of clenched fists. So walk with me as I try. Be patient when I falter. Hold me when the fear creeps in, and remind me, always, that you are not asking me to leap, you are simply inviting me to take one step, and then another, and you will be there for everyone. And if there are still tears to fall, let them fall in your presence. Let them cleanse, not shame. Let them water the seeds of something new, something softer, something more courageous. I believe you can take this bruised trust and turn it into compassion. I believe you can use even my brokenness to bring light to someone else who is still hiding. Use my healing to extend healing. Use my scars as sacred testimony. Use my voice to sing again, not despite the pain, but through it. Lord, thank you for being the safe place where rebuilding can begin. Thank you for not demanding perfection, but offering presence. Thank you for reminding me that I am never too far gone, never too broken, never too lost to be found. My trust in others may have cracked, but my trust in you, though tested, is being rebuilt, breath by breath, prayer by prayer. And maybe, just maybe, that is enough for today. Lord, as I sit with the quiet that follows my confession, as the noise of my striving fades and the stillness of surrender begins to settle, I sense the deeper lesson you are drawing me into. It is not just about releasing burdens or naming my fears. It is about loosening my grip on time itself, about letting go of my desperate need to see things happen when I think they should, and allowing your divine schedule to take precedence in my heart. I confess that I often mistake waiting for wasting. I look at the blank spaces in my calendar, the prayers that go unanswered, the moments that stretch long and quiet, and I feel a rising panic. I question if you have heard me. I wonder if you have forgotten, but then you remind me that your timing is never rushed, never delayed, but always perfect. Even when it looks like nothing is moving, you are still orchestrating everything with a wisdom beyond what I can grasp. God, help me to trust the sacred pauses. Teach me to see your fingerprints in the waiting. You are not withholding blessings. You are preparing me to receive them. You are shaping my heart, tuning my spirit, strengthening my faith in the very moments when it feels like the heavens are silent. And though my human nature fights for control, Though I want to make things happen on my own terms, I sense you calling me to relinquish that illusion of power and to rest instead in the beauty of your divine order. There is a quiet miracle in not knowing when. It forces me to return to you daily, to draw near without the guarantee of immediate answers. Like the farmer who plants a seed and must wait for the unseen growth below the surface, I too must trust that beneath the silence, beneath the unanswered prayers, there is life stirring. Something is breaking through the soil, even if I cannot yet see the green shoot. Lord, I bring before you all that I have tried to control, the relationships I have pushed to change, the doors I have forced open, the outcomes I have manipulated in fear. I surrender the timelines I have written in ink, and I hold them up to you with open hands. Erase what needs erasing. Rewrite what needs rewriting. Make peace with my waiting, Father, and help me to find worship in every delay. Help me to see waiting not as a punishment, but as a sacred invitation, an invitation to lean deeper into trust, to rest my heart not on the outcome, but on you, the one who knows the end from the beginning. If you are not worried, why should I be? If you are not in a rush, why should I rush ahead of grace? Remind me that every moment withheld is not lost, but stored, and in due time, you will release what is mine with more beauty than I could have arranged on my own. Even the delays are mercies in disguise. How many times have you spared me from walking through doors too soon? How many blessings have you held back because I was not ready to hold them with integrity? Thank you for being a father who sees further than I can and loves me enough to say not yet. Thank you for the gifts you protect until my soul is prepared to carry their weight. In the waiting, let me worship. In the uncertainty, let me declare your goodness. In the spaces between what was and what will be, let me find you to be enough. May I not waste this season by trying to escape it. Instead, help me embrace it as holy ground, a place where I meet you not in the outcome, but in the process. Even when the clock ticks loudly in my ears, even when I feel like life is passing me by, draw my eyes back to eternity, where time bows to your will. Your promises are not bound by minutes or hours or years. What you speak will come to pass, not 1 second too early or too late. Let that truth be my anchor when the days stretch long and the answers remain unseen. So I breathe deep and release. I choose to trust rather than strive. I choose to believe that my life is unfolding under the care of a God who is never late. I lay down my urgency and pick up patience. I silence my inner deadlines and listen instead to the rhythm of your peace. There is peace here, Lord, a quiet that comes not from knowing every step ahead, but from knowing you are already there. A confidence that does not depend on proof, but on your presence. In you, every delay carries purpose. Every pause is a preparation. Every silence holds a whisper of grace. So I walk forward, slowly, peacefully, hands open, heart ready, not rushing toward the finish line, but walking beside you, trusting that wherever we are is exactly where I need to be, and that every moment I surrender the need to control is a moment where I am set free to live, breathe, and hope again. Lord, as the morning deepens and my soul continues to unfold in this sacred rhythm of reflection, I am drawn further into the mystery of your peace, following the quiet assurance you planted within me, like dew upon the fields of yesterday's hopes. I now find myself yearning for a deeper stillness, one that can withstand the storms I cannot yet see. There is something in the quiet surrender of this hour, something that invites me to loosen my grip on what I think I must control and simply breathe in the truth that you are already here, already working, already present in the uncertainty that lies ahead. God, you are not the author of confusion, yet life often arrives tangled, unpredictable, and shadowed with questions that do not yield easy answers. And yet, I sense you whispering not in explanations, but in presence. I do not have to understand everything in order to be held by you. I do not need a map when I have your hand. You never promised I would always see the road, but you did promise I would never walk it alone. So I choose this morning to stop striving for guarantees and to lean instead into your heart. In every place I have been holding fear too tightly, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. I release them now. You are not measuring me by outcomes. You are not pacing impatiently on the other side of some imagined finish line. You are with me here, in this in-between space, where so much still feels unresolved. Father, teach me how to walk with courage, not only in moments of clarity, but especially when the fog refuses to lift. Show me how to rest when I cannot fix. Teach me to remain tender, even when my instinct is to harden. May I not confuse uncertainty with danger, nor assume that the unknown is always to be feared. Sometimes, it is the invitation to grow, to trust deeper, to discover the strength you placed within me long before ever knew I would need it. I bring to you now every decision I have been delaying, every thought that has spiraled into anxiety, every moment I have replayed on a loop, trying to edit the past or script the future. Let me hear your voice louder than the doubts that visit me at dawn. Let the warmth of your wisdom push back the cold echo of fear. Be the calm that steadies my breath and the compass that realigns my soul to what truly matters. There are so many things I may never fully understand: why certain doors close, why some dreams linger just out of reach, why pain seems to linger longer than joy. But I do not need all the answers today. I only need enough light for the next step, and enough peace to believe that if I follow where you lead, I will not miss what was meant for me. Lord, I surrender my plans, not because they are wrong, but because I know that apart from your guidance, they are incomplete. Your perspective is higher. Your timing is wiser. You see the weaving of threads I do not yet recognize. Help me to accept delays without bitterness, to wait without restlessness, and to walk forward with grace, even when the ground beneath me shifts. In this morning light, I no longer demand perfection from myself. I no longer hold others hostage to the expectations that only you can meet. I ask instead for the humility to grow, for the compassion to forgive, for the wisdom to discern, and for the stillness to hear what is most often spoken in silence. Father, remind me that peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of you in the midst of it. Let that awareness settle into my bones, like warmth soaking through skin long touched by cold. Let it rise like the sun, sure and faithful, over the landscape of my soul. May I become a carrier of that peace to others today. Where there is panic, let me bring calm. Where there is tension, let me sow gentleness. Where someone feels unseen, may I reflect your gaze. Let my words be few and full of meaning. Let my presence be soft and steady, not rushed or reactive, but anchored in you. Thank you for not asking me to be invincible, but inviting me to be available. Thank you for turning my fragility into a place where your strength can shine. Thank you for making room in this morning for my wandering thoughts, my tangled emotions, and even my weary silence. You are not disappointed by my questions. You are not surprised by my struggle. You sit with me in the quiet corners of my hesitation and remind me that every step forward, no matter how small, is still movement in grace. You gather what I call fragments and reveal them as a mosaic only visible from eternity's vantage point. God, as I go about this day, teach me how to pause before I react, how to listen before I speak, how to breathe before I assume. Let each moment be an opportunity to practice peace, to extend grace, to anchor deeply in your love. When conflict arises, remind me that I do not need to win arguments to preserve my worth. When setbacks come, teach me that they are not signs of failure, but gentle redirections towards something more aligned with my purpose. I long to live not from a place of fear, but from the fullness of being yours. I want to be the kind of person who leaves others feeling more hopeful, more seen, more understood, simply because I reflected a bit of you. I want to carry calm into rooms that feel chaotic, to carry light where shadows linger, to carry love where walls have been built too high for words. Lord, this morning I choose again to let go of what is not mine to control. I choose to unclench my fists and open my hands. I choose to trust that even in the wilderness of unknowns, your manna will find me. Even in the valleys where shadows stretch long, your rod and staff will comfort. Even when I feel lost to myself, I am never lost to you. So I step forward with holy hesitation, not in fear, but in reverence, not in confidence of my own understanding, but in quiet boldness that you go before me. The winds may rise, the waves may swell, but I will not be overwhelmed, for you are the stillness within me. Let that truth carry me now. Let it shape how I speak, how I wait, how I walk, how I hope. Let it ripple from me into every place I touch, so that peace would no longer be something I chase, but something I embody, something I carry, something I become. God, as the light continues to stretch itself across the horizon, and the day awakens with new stirrings, I come once more into this still place to rest in your wisdom. The peace you poured over my soul like quiet water in the hour before has left me yearning, not just to be still in your presence, but to move through the hours ahead with the clarity that only you can provide. I do not want to walk blindly into this day, reacting out of impulse or habit. I want to walk purposefully, with your wisdom guiding each thought, each word, each step I take. Lord, you see what I cannot. You know what lies ahead of me, even when all I see is the moment before me. And so I lean into you now, asking that you fill me with discernment that cuts through noise and confusion. Help me to sift truth from distortion, to know when to speak and when to remain silent, to recognize the difference between urgency and importance. Let me not be swayed by every opinion, nor pulled in directions that lead me away from the still center where you dwell. Father, in the choices I face today, whether small or significant, help me remember that wisdom is more than intelligence. It is not about knowing all the answers, but about carrying a heart that seeks you above all. It is patience when I am tempted to rush. It is grace when I am inclined to judge. It is courage when I am afraid of choosing wrong. Let your wisdom be the compass within me, pointing me toward what is just, what is kind, what is lasting. There are moments ahead I cannot anticipate, conversations that may challenge, decisions that may stretch, people who may frustrate or confuse. In those moments, whisper your truth into the quiet parts of my spirit. Still the clamor of my mind, so I can hear the gentle nudge of your instruction. Remind me that wisdom is not about control, but about surrender. Not about certainty, but about faithfulness. When I am tempted to lean on my own understanding, pull me back into your light. When I want to prove myself right, help me instead pursue what is right in your eyes. When I seek to be understood more than to understand, soften my pride and teach me again the language of humility. Let my heart not be a place of arrogance, but a vessel of insight rooted in love. God, let wisdom shape the way I handle the responsibilities that await me. In every task I undertake today, may I not simply complete them, but carry them with reverence, knowing that even the most ordinary act can hold extraordinary purpose when done with intention and care. Whether it is in the words I write, the hands I shake, the duties I fulfill, or the moments of waiting in between, let all of it be saturated with your guidance. Help me to navigate relationships with wisdom, too. With those I love, may I speak not only from emotion, but from clarity. Let my presence offer safety, not tension. Let my responses reflect not just what I feel, but what builds. When I encounter disagreement, may I not be quick to defend, but quick to listen, slow to anger, and rich in mercy. When I am called to lead, may I do so from a place of service. When I am asked to follow, may I do so with grace and trust. Lord, I ask not for answers that make life easier, but for wisdom that makes my spirit stronger. I do not ask for the absence of challenge, but for the eyes to see through challenge with perspective anchored in truth, even when life feels unfair or the path wins unexpectedly. Remind me that wisdom often grows in the soil of experience and the light of surrender. There is so much I still do not understand, so much mystery in suffering, so much hidden in waiting, so much beyond my reach. But perhaps wisdom is not about solving the mystery, but learning to walk humbly within it. Perhaps it is about choosing love when logic fails, about choosing peace when proof is absent, about choosing to keep showing up, even when the way is unclear. Teach me how to recognize the voices that come from you and to release the ones that do not. Teach me how to ask questions without becoming cynical, how to hold convictions without becoming hard, how to remain rooted without becoming rigid. Let my mind be curious but steady, open but anchored, discerning but compassionate. God, if I stray from your wisdom, pull me back gently but firmly. Do not let me be satisfied with shallow answers or fleeting satisfaction. Deepen my hunger for truth. Let me delight in wisdom the way one delights in beauty, the way one returns again and again to a sunrise simply because it reminds them that light always returns. Let me not fear being corrected, for I know you only correct to restore. Let me not resist being taught, for I know you teach out of love, not shame. Even in the silent places, when your voice is not loud or clear, let me not assume you are absent. Your wisdom often arrives like the wind, unseen but undeniable, moving through moments with gentle precision. Help me to recognize it in hindsight, to celebrate it in the mundane, and to rest in it when nothing else makes sense. Father, this morning I bring to you not only my desires, but my questions. Not only my goals, but my gaps. Not only my strength, but my confusion. I do not need to have it all figured out. I only need to be willing to keep turning to you. And so I do, again and again, in every pause, in every decision, in every moment that calls for more than I have on my own. Let wisdom become my instinct, because I have been formed by your voice. Let it be written on my heart not as a rule, but as a rhythm. Let it grow quietly, steadily, over time, unseen yet unmistakable, like roots beneath the surface that hold the tree through every storm. As the world around me rushes forward, trying to convince me that louder is better, faster is necessary, and complexity is strength, may I live contrary to that current. May I walk slowly enough to hear you. May I speak gently enough to reflect you. May I think deeply enough to be shaped by you. Let today be a tapestry woven with wise choices, even if they go unnoticed by others. Let it be a day where I plant seeds of goodness, even if I do not see the harvest. Let it be a day where I reflect your heart, not for applause, but because it is the most beautiful way to live. And when night comes again, and I look back at all the pieces of this day, may I see not perfection, but intention. Not control, but trust. Not flawless execution, but faithful pursuit. And through it all, may I know that I was never alone, that every step, whether sure or uncertain, was gently guided by the one who holds all wisdom in his hands. Lord, when I pause to breathe deeply in this still morning, I can still feel the ache of yesterday's disappointments lingering like fog that refuses to lift. And yet, even in that heaviness, I turn to you not because I have mastered trust, but because I know you are the only one worthy of it. You are the God who sees beyond the broken pieces scattered at my feet. You are not shocked by my questions or startled by the weight I carry. As everything I held on to begins to unravel, you remain unmoved, unchanged, always steady. So I come to you not with answers, but with empty hands, trembling in their release. Father, I thought I understood what you were doing. I thought I saw the direction clearly. I made plans. I built dreams. I drew maps in my heart of how things would go, who would stay, what doors would open. And now, those carefully constructed hopes feel shattered. What was once solid now feels like shifting sand. But in this fragile state, I choose to whisper. Even now, I trust you, not because it is easy, not because the pain has lessened, but because you are still God, still good, still writing a story that is greater than mine. Help me surrender the blueprint I have clung to so tightly. God, remind me again that your plan is not defined by my timeline, that delays are not denials, and that even detours are woven with divine intention. When I am faced with silence, help me believe you are still working. When doors close, remind me that you are protecting what I cannot see. When I face the unknown, give me the courage to take one step at a time, trusting that you are already in every tomorrow I fear. I do not need the whole picture. I just need to know you are walking with me. That alone is enough. Lord, teach me to trust the process. Even when it does not resemble progress, show me that surrender is not weakness, but worship. That releasing control does not mean giving up, it means giving you room to move. Replace the panic in my chest with peace, not because the circumstances change, but because I am resting in the one who never does. Your promises are not tethered to my performance. Your love is not conditional on my understanding. You are not holding out on me. You are holding me. There are days, God, when I can see a way forward. The questions feel louder than truth. The fear feels stronger than faith. In those moments, meet me in the quiet. Whisper assurance into the corners of my heart, that H for clarity. Help me to believe that you are doing something good even here. Even now, let me look at the ruins not with despair, but with hope, knowing that you specialize in rebuilding what seems lost. Let my surrender be the seed you use to bring forth something new, something better than I imagined. Father, remind me that you do not waste anything, not a single tear, not a shattered dream, not even the silence. Everything I give to you, you redeem. So I lay it all down again, the disappointment, the fear, the expectations, the pain. I offer them back to you with the full weight of my humanity, trusting that you receive it all with tenderness. You are not intimidated by my mess. You sit with me in it, and you promise to bring beauty from it. Even when it hurts, I want to believe that you are in control. Even when my prayers feel unanswered, help me to rest in the truth that you always respond in your way, in your time. You are not withholding. You are orchestrating. You are not distant. You are near, closer than my breath, speaking in ways I cannot always hear, moving in ways I do not always see. But you are here, and you are faithful. So, Father, anchor me in truth today. When my emotions pull me toward despair, let your word be the rock beneath my feet. When I feel like giving up, remind me that you have never given up on me. When the enemy whispers lies of abandonment, let your love roar louder, steadying my soul in the certainty of your presence. Let me not chase after understanding, but instead lean into trust, because understanding may never come, but trust is always a choice. I confess, Lord, that I have tried to carry things too heavy for my hands. I have tried to force outcomes, manipulate timing, make sense of what was never mine to control. But today, I release that burden. I lay it at your feet, knowing that your shoulders are stronger, your view is higher, and your heart is kinder. I do not need to fix everything. I just need to stay close to the one who holds everything, God. Give me grace for the waiting. Give me strength for the letting go. Give me joy that defies the circumstances. Give me eyes that see not just what is missing, but what you are making new. Let gratitude rise even in grief. Let worship bloom even in weakness. Let peace flow even when answers do not. Let me remember that you are not done. The story is not finished. And even in this very chapter, you are present, active, loving, redeeming. Father, help me to stop measuring your love by the fulfillment of my plans. Help me to start recognizing your love in the unfolding of your purpose, whether I walk through open doors or sit beside closed ones. Let me do it with trust, whether the road is smooth or filled with stones. Let me walk it with faith, whether I see the harvest or plant the seeds in tears. Let me do it with hope, because you are not just writing the story, I am living it with you. Let today be another step of surrender, another breath of release, another moment of yielding to something greater than myself. I do not need all the details. I need your presence. I need your whisper in the stillness. I need your peace that surpasses all understanding. So hold my heart, Lord, and teach it to trust again, not because the storm is over, but because you are in the boat with me. And that changes everything. God, in the hush of this new morning, as silence still blankets the world and the first stirrings of light begin their gentle rise, I come before you with a soul that leans into your presence. From the depths I was pulled just hours ago, where I wrestled with shadows of uncertainty and whispered doubts that tried to take root. You have brought me again into the quiet where truth breathes. And now, in this moment, I can feel the soft rhythm of hope rising, like the wind brushing across the fields before the dawn fully claims the sky. You know how weary the journey can feel sometimes. Lord, the heart grows tired not just from hardship, but from longing for clarity, for peace, for a sense that the steps I am taking are leading somewhere meaningful. Yet somehow, even in the unanswered places, you remind me that your presence alone is enough to anchor me. Not every mystery must be solved for peace to unfold. Sometimes the gift is not in the solution, but in learning to rest, even while the question still hangs. So here I am, learning again how to rest in you, to breathe deeply even as the path bends out of sight. There is something holy about not knowing everything, about not racing to fix or arrange life into safe little boxes, because in that space right there, in the waiting you, are shaping something quiet but eternal. I do not want to miss it by rushing past the silence. Father, help me carry this awareness with me throughout the hours ahead. Let me live as someone who knows she walks with God, not just when things are easy, but when the road is invisible. Let my choices today reflect the calm you have instilled, the kind that cannot be shaken by deadlines or voices that demand more than I have. Help me protect my peace as a sacred offering, one I guard not selfishly, but with reverence for what you have entrusted. I want to walk gently today, not with fear, not with hesitation, but with a kindness toward myself and others that speaks of quiet strength. Teach me to pause before speaking, to breathe before reacting, to choose mercy over judgment, not because I am noble, but because I have been shown great mercy by you, the kind of mercy that rewrites stories and rewires hearts, the kind that does not demand perfection to offer love. God, give me eyes to see beyond the surface of those I meet. Not everyone who is smiling is fine. Not everyone who is quiet is at peace. Let me notice the unseen battles around me, and may my presence offer some relief, some warmth, even if through nothing more than a patient glance or a word spoken without hurry. Let me be a reflection of your gentleness, not as performance, but as overflow. And when the pressures of the day begin to build, as they always do, help me return to this stillness. Let me carry it like a secret sanctuary within, a place I can retreat to even when I am surrounded by noise. Teach me not to measure my value by productivity or praise. Let my worth be grounded in the truth that I belong to you, and that nothing can add to or take away from that. Lord, even in my flaws, you remain constant. Even in my fears, you do not flinch. Even when I feel like a burden to myself, you see me as beloved. So today, let me live from that knowing. Let it color everything I do, every task, every conversation, every pause. Let it soften the sharp edges I sometimes carry, and make space for others to rest in my presence too. You never ask me to be perfect, only present, not to be impressive, only faithful, not to know it all, but to trust the one who does. So I surrender again, not in defeat, but in relief, knowing I do not have to carry everything alone, knowing you are already in every room I will enter today, knowing you are working in the hearts of those I love, even when I cannot see the evidence. Keep me anchored in compassion. Guard me from apathy and the slow erosion of hope. Let me fight the lie that says nothing changes, that prayers go unanswered, that kindness is weakness. Let me walk as one who knows the truth beneath all the noise, that you are near, that love is stronger than cynicism, and that light still pierces the deepest dark. This day is not mine to conquer, but to dwell within, to explore, to learn, to give, to receive. So may I walk humbly and with gratitude, not because all is perfect, but because I have been given the grace to begin again. And that alone is a miracle. Let my breath echo with wonder. Let my silence be filled with reverence. Let my heart move in rhythm with yours, steady and true, unhurried and clear. As the sun continues its ascent, may its light remind me that joy returns again and again, that even if clouds pass through, the brilliance behind them is never gone, that even if tears fall, they water something beneath the surface I cannot yet see. I carry the stillness forward now, not as something to hold tightly, but as something to share, a ripple of peace in a world too loud, a quiet reminder that you are still speaking, even in the hush, even in the pause, even in the breath between words. God, as the light of your grace continues to wrap around my morning thoughts, I find myself still carried by the quiet strength you so gently place within me. The day is unfolding before me like a delicate canvas, each moment yet untouched by the brush of decision or reaction, and I sense the sacred weight of that gift. I come before you not with grand declarations, but with the humble acknowledgement that I am entirely dependent on your peace to shape my spirit, to anchor me amidst the stirrings of the world. It is not always easy to be still. My mind naturally drifts toward what needs to be done, what could go wrong, and who I should be. Yet in your presence, Father, I am reminded that before I do, I am called to simply be, to be present, to be open, to be still enough to sense the whisper of your Spirit within the rhythms of this morning. Let me not rush past this moment. Let me not run ahead of your voice, but instead lean into it, allowing it to center me with the calm only you can provide. You have been my shelter when the winds blew stronger than I could bear. You have been my still point when the world spun with urgency and noise. And you remain that quiet strength now, guiding me not with shouts or force, but with the gentle conviction that I am loved, held, and known. I want to walk into this day with that truth not only in my thoughts, but rooted deeply in my heart. As I prepare to meet the demands of another day, I ask that you would go before me in every interaction, every decision, every unknown that may arise. Steady my hands when I feel uncertain. Soften my words when tension creeps in. Strengthen my patience when I am stretched thin. Help me respond instead of react. Listen instead of rush. And breathe instead of break. Remind me, in all things, that I do not carry the weight of the world. I am simply called to walk faithfully and leave the rest in your hands. God, I need your courage, not the kind that demands to be seen, but the quiet kind that shows up in faithfulness. The courage to show up with grace even when it is hard. The courage to offer kindness when it is undeserved. The courage to pause when I feel the pull to strive. This gentle bravery comes from you. It grows when I let go of control and trust that your strength is perfected in my weakness. Thank you for the ordinary moments that hold extraordinary presence. The sound of early birds, the warmth of sunlight on my face, the hush of the world before it fully wakes. These reminders are not small. They are sacred. Each one declaring that you are here, still writing beauty into my life. Even the unnoticed threads of joy woven into my morning routine are whispers of your faithfulness. May my gratitude never grow cold. May I remain aware of the miracle it is to breathe, to feel, to live again today. Let that awareness flow into compassion for others. Let it guide how I see those I pass, each one carrying burdens I cannot know, each one worthy of grace. Make me sensitive to their silent struggles, generous in my presence, and willing to love without condition or expectation. Let me be an extension of the same mercy you lavish on me. Lord, I ask for a heart that is both soft and strong, one that bends toward empathy, yet stands firm in truth, one that is unafraid to be vulnerable, yet deeply rooted in you. There is a sacred balance in that tension, and I can only live in it when I stay near to you. Teach me to return often, not only in my need, but in my quiet moments too. Let my life become a continual reaching toward you, a breath-by-breath prayer that never ends. And when I fall short today, and I know I will in ways both small and deep, may your grace not feel distant. Remind me then, in the mess of my humanity, that you are not disappointed. You are drawing me nearer. You are always offering another beginning. Help me respond to that invitation, not with guilt, but with the joy of returning to the one who loves me as I am, and too much to leave me that way. Even now, I can feel the gentle stirring of hope rising in me. Hope not based on outcomes, but anchored in the certainty of your presence. Hope that whispers, "You are not alone." Hope that declares, "This day holds purpose because you are in it." Let that hope guide how I carry myself today. Let it influence my thoughts, my pace, my tone. Let it change how I respond to interruptions and open my eyes to blessings disguised as detours. So here I am again, Lord, walking into this morning not with answers, but with a willing spirit, not with the guarantee of ease, but with the assurance of your nearness. You have never left me, not once, and I trust you will walk with me through every step of what lies ahead. I release my striving, and in its place, I choose surrender. I release the pressure to perform, and in its place, I choose peace. I release fear of the unknown, and in its place, I choose faith. Thank you for being my beginning, my anchor, and my guide. Thank you for meeting me here in this sacred pause, where heaven brushes earth in silence, and my soul remembers that it is deeply, irrevocably loved. May I live from that remembrance today, and may every moment become a quiet echo of this stillness we share. Lord, in the quiet that lingers after surrender, I hear the faintest whisper of assurance wrapping around my spirit like a soft thread. It is not loud, but it is steady. It tells me I was never meant to carry everything, just the part you have entrusted to me today. And that part is enough. You are not asking me to run ahead, to fix it all, to prove myself. You are inviting me to walk not in fear or striving, but in purpose and gentle confidence, because you are with me in each step. There is something sacred about this moment, where I pause again in the stillness and let your nearness quiet every inner storm. I do not have to feel strong to be carried by your strength. I do not have to feel brave to be led by your courage. What matters is that I am willing to take this breath with you in mind, willing to open my heart before the day opens fully before me, willing to trust that if you are here and you are then, I already have enough to begin again. Father, I find such beauty in how you do not demand perfection. You ask for honesty. You ask for presence. You ask that I do not harden myself against the day, but instead remain tender, receptive, and open to your movement in the ordinary. That kind of posture does not come from my own will. It grows out of trust, and I ask you to deepen that trust in me now. Even when I cannot see how things will unfold, teach me to trust that you are unfolding something good. Let me walk into today's unknowns, not as one afraid of what lies ahead, but as one convinced that goodness and mercy are already on the path. Let your spirit go before me, preparing hearts I will encounter, softening conversations that might feel heavy, and filling every gap where I fall short. May I not be afraid to admit when I am tired, to pause when I need rest, to say no when it is not mine to carry, or to say yes when love calls for action. Lord, so often I have confused my worth with my productivity. I have measured my value by how much I could accomplish or how well I could meet others' expectations. But you have never measured me that way. You see the heart. You cherish the smallest act done with kindness, the unseen obedience, the quiet moment of integrity when no one else notices. Remind me that faithfulness is not always flashy. Sometimes it looks like showing up again with a willing heart, even when yesterday left me wary. And if weariness still lingers this morning, I pray you will not let me feel ashamed of it. Instead, let it become the very place you meet me. Let tiredness become holy ground where I stop pretending and simply lean on you with all I am. Let me remember that rest is not weakness. It is a gift. And if you, Lord of the universe, rested on the seventh day, then surely I can rest too, without fear of falling behind. I bring to you every place in me still etching for clarity, every decision waiting for peace, every door I am afraid to open, and every one I am scared will close. I do not need all the answers today. I just need enough light to take the next faithful step. I do not need the full map. I only need to know you are in the journey. Give me the grace to live in the mystery without panic, to sit with the unanswered questions without losing my peace. There is such comfort in knowing that you are not in a rush with me. You are not tapping your foot waiting for me to figure it all out. You are walking at the pace of love, patient, steady, unwavering. You teach me that growth is not always loud or visible. Sometimes it is quiet, slow, invisible to the eye but deeply rooted, and in time, it will bloom. So even if today looks like small steps or even standing still for a moment, I trust that you are still moving in me. Help me to be more aware of people, us hearts than their behaviors. When someone speaks sharply, let me see the pain behind their words. When someone seems distant, help me remember they may be carrying invisible battles. Let my presence be a balm, not a burden. Let my voice carry kindness, not criticism. Let my eyes see the good you are still writing in each person's story, even if the page they are on looks messy. God, I pray for discernment that does not come from logic alone, but from the quiet wisdom of your spirit. Help me to know when to speak and when to listen, when to press forward and when to step back, when to carry and when to release. Teach me to stay attuned to the rhythm of grace, so that I do not move by pressure, fear, or pride, but by the gentle pull of your presence within. Let today be less about proving and more about being. Let it be less about controlling and more about connecting. Let it be less about checking boxes and more about showing love. I know that not every moment will feel spiritual or profound, but if I carry this posture of openness, even the mundane can become meaningful. The drive to work, the task I have done 100 times, the unexpected conversation, all of it holds potential to be sacred if I stay aware. Lord, if disappointment greets me today, help me not to let it harden me. If something I hoped for does not come to pass, remind me that closed doors are sometimes your mercy in disguise. If something painful resurfaces, help me to face it with you rather than fleeing from it. Let my resilience come not from pride, but from the deeper knowing that you are my constant, my center, my unshaken truth. Thank you for the fresh mercy that meets me this morning, not because I earned it, but because it is who you are. Thank you for believing in the good you planted in me, even when I question it myself. Thank you for the subtle nudges, the quiet redirections, the tiny miracles I so often overlook. They are the fabric of your care, and I want to be one who notices, who gives thanks not only for the mountain moments, but also for the dew on the grass and the light through the leaves. Let my life today be a quiet yes to you, in the way I speak, in the way I pause, in the way I forgive, in the way I begin again. Let every small act be an echo of this prayer, unfolding quietly with purpose and presence, all the way to nightfall. Father, as my thoughts lean gently from yesterday's quiet surrender, I realize how many moments you have already filled with unseen grace. In the spaces where I had no words, you heard me. In the pauses between each heartbeat of anxiety, you whispered calm. And in the stillness after my whispered yes, you placed strength in my trembling hands. So here I come again, not with certainty, but with openness, not with clarity, but with longing, not demanding a sign, but drawing near simply because I know you are here. Let your light be my anchor today, not because everything is certain, but because you are faithful, not because the path ahead is visible, but because your presence is enough to steady my next step. I do not need all the pieces to fit before I trust. I do not need every voice to affirm me before I believe. I do not need the noise to disappear before I find stillness. I need you, and that quiet knowing becomes the compass I lean into when I can't find my way. Lord, help me to walk through this day as one who carries peace, not as a mask or obligation, but as a deep well drawn from being known and loved by you. Let my words be gentle, not because I have rehearsed kindness, but because I have encountered mercy. Let my actions flow not from performance, but from a place of being deeply anchored in grace. And when I falter, and I will let my return to you be swift and tender, not ashamed, but aware that love never moved away from me. So often, I chase understanding as if it is the only way to feel secure. But you invite me to trade the need to understand for the freedom of trusting you in the unknown. Help me resist the pull of control and choose the sacred simplicity of leaning in, listening well, and being present, even when the answers feel far. May I choose to remain soft rather than striving, present rather than perfect, available rather than always certain. God, I bring you the conversations that have not happened, yet the ones I feel nervous about, the ones I replay in my mind before they even begin. Prepare my spirit for those moments. Help me not speak from fear or defensiveness, but from wholeness. Let me be more interested in connection than correction, more interested in peace than being right. And when I feel misunderstood, help me remember that I am fully understood by you, and that is enough to steady me. If today brings delay, help me not see it as rejection, but redirection. If doors close, help me believe they are closing for my protection. If someone walks away, give me the grace to release them with love and not bitterness. If silence lingers longer than I hoped, teach me to wait with expectancy, not despair. You are the God who works in silence as much as in signs, and I trust that even when I see nothing, you are doing something beautiful behind the veil. Let me not miss the sacred moments hidden in the ordinary, the way sunlight stretches through the window, the warmth of a familiar voice, the taste of something simple that nourishes. These are not small, they are reminders that you are near. Let my eyes be trained to see the fingerprints of your kindness in what others rush past. Let my soul pause again and again to say thank you before I even receive what I asked for. Teach me how to carry joy that is not dependent on outcome, but rooted in your nature. Joy that does not crumble in discomfort, but blooms in it. Joy that does not wait for resolution, but rises in the tension and says, "Still, He is good." Let that kind of joy begin in me today. Let it not be loud or performative, but quiet and real, something that stays even when my circumstances shift. Lord, I pray for those I will encounter today, the stranger at the crosswalk, the co-worker with heavy eyes, the friend who may need more than a casual hello. Help me carry a spirit of noticing, of leaning in, of being the one who does not rush away from discomfort, but lingers long enough to be part of healing. I do not want to be so busy with what is next that I miss the miracle of who is right in front of me. When insecurity whispers, telling me I am not enough or too much, let your voice be louder, not in volume, but in depth. A voice that reminds me I am already loved, already held, already chosen, not because of what I do, but because of who you are. And when my past tries to shout louder than your promises, silence its echo with truth. I do not have to earn my way back to you. I never left your sight. You do not disqualify me because of where I have been. You draw closer because you know exactly what healing looks like for me. God, if today asks more of me than I feel I have to give, let me remember that I was never expected to carry it alone. That strength is not always the loudest roar, but sometimes the quiet choice to rise again, to show up, to breathe deep, to say yes, even if it trembles. I do not have to be extraordinary to walk in your will. I just have to be willing. And in that willingness, you do something beautiful. You multiply what little I offer, and you call it enough. May I find joy in hidden obedience, the things no one else sees. But you treasure the unseen kindness, the private sacrifice, the small act of integrity. Remind me that nothing done in love is ever wasted, that the seeds planted today may bloom in seasons I will never witness, but that does not make them any less holy. Give me the courage to sow generously, even if the harvest belongs to another time. Let today be marked by grace not just received, but extended, not just hoped for, but lived out. Let me be a vessel of softness in a world that often sharpens edges. Let my presence slow the pace for someone else. Let my listening become a gift. Let my silence, when offered with love, speak louder than words. And let every moment be an invitation back into the sacred awareness that you are here. Father, in the quiet spaces between tasks, when the world goes on but my heart needs pause, meet me there. In the in-between, in the unnoticed, in the overlooked. Fill those cracks with your presence, so nothing feels wasted, not even the waiting, not even the wondering. Let my soul become like soft soil today, ready to receive, ready to trust, ready to bloom, not for my glory, but because of your gentle love sound deep within. Lord, as this final whisper rises from my heart, it does not come with finality, but with gentle unfolding. Like the way morning never arrives with thunder, but with a gradual glow that brushes across the horizon. I bring this moment not to close the prayer, but to welcome what comes next with sacred expectancy. You have walked with me through every turn of thought, every weight I could not name, every hope I dared to hold. You stayed. You waited. You whispered into silence, until even silence began to speak of your presence. And now, here in this stillness before the noise of life rises again, I breathe in the sweetness of that companionship and exhale my trust once more. God, I do not know how many mornings I will get like this, how many pauses I will remember to take, how many heartbeats I will offer to you instead of to distraction. But for this one, for this sacred stretch of quiet, I am grateful. Thank you for lending me peace that does not depend on my surroundings, and hope that is not tied to outcomes. Thank you for being a faithful God in both the waiting and the walking. You have taught me that intimacy with you is not about arriving at perfection, but returning again and again to the place of surrender. I come as I am, not as I feel I should be. And you meet me not as a distant figure on a throne, but as a loving Father who kneels beside the fragile places and sees beauty still forming there, even when I tried to clean up my prayers. You preferred the messy ones, the ones soaked in doubt, trembling with fear, heavy with questions. Those were the ones you held closest. Those were the ones you shaped into healing. So, Lord, as this long morning prayer finds its final breath, may it not signal an ending, but ignite a beginning of listening more and rushing less, of trusting more deeply and fearing less often, of living each day not to prove, but to dwell, not to strive, but to love. Let all these words become more than echoes. Let them become movement in my life, movement toward grace, movement toward peace, movement toward others with open hands and an open heart. Thank you for holding space for me for every hesitation, every sorrow, every praise that did not have words. Thank you for never rushing me through the process of becoming. Thank you for not demanding strength, but offering it. Thank you for not expecting constant faith, but responding with compassion when mine wavered. I have been seen, and I have been steadied. I have been led, even when I did not know which way to face. Lord, I know there will be days ahead when I forget again, when my soul grows tired, when doubt knocks louder than truth. But may something from this morning rise within me, then a small spark from these quiet chapters, a reminder that you are never far, that my return to you does not require grandeur, just honesty, that my belonging in your love was never based on performance, but on grace I could never earn and never lose. For those listening with me, walking this path of prayer side by side, I ask for the same gentle assurance, that they feel held even in unseen battles, that they are reminded that their questions do not disqualify their faith, that every breath they bring to you is holy, that their healing, however slow, is sacred. May they know that even when they feel forgotten by the world, they are remembered in the heart of God. We are not alone, not in the weeping, not in the rejoicing, not in the stumbling, not in the rising. We are bound by the mercy that found us first, and even now, as we turn toward the rhythm of daily life again, may we carry this quiet with us not as something to preserve perfectly, but as something that lingers, soft and real, reminding us where to return. Let this day be shaped by gentle courage, the courage to speak truth in love, to pause before reacting, to offer forgiveness even when it hurts, to dream again even after disappointment. Let our decisions be shaped not by fear of the future, but by faith in a God who walks ahead of us. And when the path disappears in fog, remind us that you have never needed clear roads to lead us well. There are places you will take us that we have not imagined. There are purposes waiting inside pain we once wished away. There is beauty rising in places we once saw as ruins. Help us to stay open, even when it is hard. Help us to say yes, even when it is quiet. Help us to keep showing up with shaky hearts and stubborn hope, and hands willing to serve in small unseen ways, because you see, and that changes everything. Lord, let the fruit of these prayers be tenderness. Let them bear patience in our speech, compassion in our actions, stillness in our decisions, joy in our presence. Let them move beyond these moments and into our relationships, our work, our homes, our thinking. Let them be the beginning of new rhythms, ones not rooted in achievement, but in awareness, not based on outward pace, but inward peace. We do not pray because we have the words. We pray because you listen. We do not stay because we always feel strong. We stay because you make room for the weak. And now, in this final pause, I thank you for the honor of being known, for the sacred quiet that gave me room to breathe again, for the long unhurried conversation that pulled me back to truth, for the gentle reminders, scattered like morning dew, that love is still the truest thing in the world. So if I speak less today, let it be because I am listening more. If I do less, let it be because I am loving deeper. If I walk slower, let it be because I am noticing what matters. And if I forget all else, let me remember this: you are here. Not later, not someday, but now, always now. To every soul who has prayed with me through these chapters, thank you for lingering. Thank you for trusting your heart to slow down. This journey has not been about perfect words, but about presence, yours, mine, and His. May what began as morning prayer continue as daily breath. May it carry you into new mercies, into deeper peace, into love that does not waver. If this prayer found a home in you, I invite you to share your thoughts, your prayers, your moments of connection below. Let us walk together in light, in truth, in grace. Subscribe to this channel if you wish to keep rising into mornings like this morning's, shaped not by the noise of the world, but by the still small voice of God. Share this with someone whose soul needs softening. And above all, carry this faith gently with you like the hush before sunrise, like a breeze brushing your cheek, like a river quietly moving toward light.